Today's episode comes to you from the Blue Chew studio. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third for free with promo code Wrestle at BlueChew.com.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle with.
Bruce Prichard. Well, you know.
That's not a rib.
No, yeah, but
There's no box of gimmicks.
Rumor and innuendo.
I don't deal in rumor and innuendo. And was he there? I was there. I don't give a shit.
Welcome to Something to Wrestle With.
Something to wrestle
Something
to wrestle with.
Something to wrestle with. Bruce Prichard. Conrad, the mortgage guy, and you're listening to Something to Wrestle With. John Layfield. John, what's going on, man? How are you?
Bradshaw 316 says, I just stole your fucking podcast.
Well, and you did. And we had a blast last weekend. You were working for Mr. Herb Simmons over in the shadows of St. Louis. I think it was Fairview Heights, Illinois. I think it was. We were at the Radisson.
That's correct, yes.
What a fantastic event. What a fabulous promoter. He had a who's who of talent there. I had a blast. What'd you do?
It hit a terrific event. I loved going in there for Herb. Herb is always so nice. He's such a great host. Been a promoter forever, as you know. But tons of talent come in there. It's so much fun to see the guys. And just a fun place to go to.
Super fun time. Of course, we were there filming some new episodes of Curtain Jerkers. We got some pretty great content. Can't wait for you to see. But while we were there, we heard some news that I wanted to, I guess, maybe put a button on. You and I last year, I can't believe it now, but it was last year. We were talking about the whole Raja Jackson scenario. You may remember there was Psycho Stu and Rampage Jackson's son, and it was an ugly scene, a big miscommunication, lots of ugliness afterwards. But it turns out, I guess Raja has accepted a plea deal after that 2025 event in Los Angeles. He pled no contest to felony battery. And as the rumor and innuendo is, he's expected to serve 90 days in county jail. He'll have to do some probation and pay some restitution. I got to tell you, though, I'm pleasantly surprised that this is all behind us so quickly. Like this sort of thing you feel like drags out for a long time and could actually define a guy's life from then on. But this feels like, hey, we're going to come out of the other side of this. What's your reaction to this?
Well, look, I thought what happened should have happened. He should have got punished and deal with it and then get on with life. You know, and it's, to me, it's not that big a deal. You know, he beat up somebody, shouldn't happen. There's no excuse for that. And, you know, his father didn't try to make an excuse for him. Other people are not. Now he's taking the plea and he's going to prison or county jail, whatever he's going to. He's going to lock up for, 30 to 90 days, whatever it is. He's going to serve his time. When he comes out, then he should get on with his life.
I totally agree. You know, I know that a lot of times there's a lot of discussion about these sort of things on social media, but hey, we have a justice system and this is the punishment that's been handed down. And once he's paid his debt to society, as they say, I'm excited for what's next for him, as crazy as that is. Let's put this behind him. Hopefully Stu is okay and allow everybody to move forward positively somehow.
Yeah, and I saw AJ Mana out there in Fairview. He drove in. It was very nice to see him. First time I ever met him in person. And he also got, kind of blackballed by this whole thing. And, I hope that he's able to move on as well. I hope all of them are. Things happen in life. And when things do, you deal with the consequences and then you move on. And that's what life's all about. This young man, he's going to serve some time behind bars. That's very unpleasant. It's probably deserved. And once he gets out, it's over with. It should be behind him, and you can't hold that against him anymore.
We didn't really talk about that. I knew that you said you had been in communication with AJ Mana. You mentioned in passing there that he's blackballed. Is he completely out of wrestling right now? I haven't kept up with him.
No, he's actually not. He moved into, I believe, Arkansas. I'm going to get the state wrong. He's right around there, one of those states right around. I think it was Arkansas. And he's wrestling a lot around in the area, which is good because he should be. You could argue and split hairs about what he said or what he didn't say. He told the guy to give a receipt. I've heard people say that for 30-something years. That doesn't give the ability to have attempted murder. So, I don't think AJ did anything wrong. And, he suffered for it out in Vegas area, and he moved out to different place, and now he's getting a chance to wrestle again and do what he wants, which he should be able to.
Well, I'm pulling for everybody to have a happy ending on the other side of that ugly incident. I do think most of it can be chalked up to a giant misunderstanding, and now there's a big finger pointing mess. But maybe now, since we know we have some sort of resolution, like put it in the rearview mirror and move on to happier things. I hope everybody has a much better career on the other side of this. I don't know why anybody would cheer in the other direction. I do want to ask you about some other news. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a report out that maybe somehow, some way, Hulk Hogan's accountant managed to swindle $900,000. I don't know if you saw this, but TMZ is actually reporting that Hulk Hogan's former accountant is now in serious trouble with the law. He's accused of stealing over $900,000 from what's described as being a high profile client. The person's name is Melissa Gothrow. Probably mispronounced that. Sorry for being a hillbilly. Allegedly, she handled the bookkeeping for Hulk Hogan from 2017 to 2021. And now she's been hit with 6 federal counts of wire fraud. And the official court document is only referring to the victim as a public figure in Florida. But a lot of people have been able to sort of deduce, hey, this has got to be Hulk Hogan. Each count of wire fraud is going to carry a maximum sentence of 20 years, meaning she could theoretically face up to 120 years in federal prison for embezzlement here, John. And obviously, you knew the Hulkster and are familiar with the finance biz and finance world. What do you make of this, man? 900 grand? That's a king's ransom.
I don't care if it's $90. This woman can rot in hell. I could fuck her. I mean, that's bullshit. Stealing money from people when they trust you. If she did this, I hope she gets every one of those 20 years back to back to back to back to back. She never gets out of prison. I mean, I just got no tolerance for thieves. I got no tolerance for people, especially thieves, when somebody trusts you to handle their finance. And look, I don't know this woman. I don't know if she's guilty or not guilty, but I'm just saying, if a person is guilty that stole this money, I hope they rot in hell. I got no time for thieves. I got no space for thieves. I just think it's a horrible thing when someone trusts you to then go out and steal from them. Yeah, screw you. That's one of the lowest forms of life in the world.
It's written in the report here that because she had the authority to sign documents on the victim's behalf, she was allegedly able to move the funds around quite easily. Of course, if she's found guilty, this is going to be a massive penalty for her. But listen, you've been in and around this space for a long time. A lot of professional athletes, entertainers, high income folks, and a lot of them sort of tag out on the responsibilities of dealing with their finances, and they just let somebody else tackle it. And then to your point, they're putting total faith and trust there.
Yeah.
Is there a best practice that you would see, or you would advise someone who maybe they would prefer someone else handle the money and they can just focus on creating it? And maybe they'll be, because I've heard allegedly, I don't know if this is true, but there was a report that even after the Gawker thing, that Hulk Hogan was like giving himself almost like an allowance. He had a real financial plan, and it was like, hey, here's how much my play money is, and the rest of the money I'm going to have working for me. I know that's a strategy like you employ. You want to have some diligent investing and things like that. What would be your best practice to make sure this doesn't happen, John?
Yeah, I want to answer the question because it's a good question. But let me ask you first: was this woman accused of stealing money after Hogan had passed away?
No, 2017 to 2021.
Okay, so she was allegedly stealing from him while he was still alive. And
yes.
Yeah, look, the main thing to me is we do a great job in this country of trying to educate people to go out and get jobs. We don't do a great job of educating people what to do with their money. And that's just a problem. It was a problem with me. I mean, I played 3 years pro football total. I didn't make any money. I'd love to tell you I had drugs and women issues, and that's why I spent all my money. I just didn't make any money, and when I got done, I just didn't have any money in the bank or anything. I got cut my 3rd year and didn't have any money. And I swore if I ever had a chance to make money again, that I was going to know what to do with it. And that's when I started reading up all the different financial books. And that's why I wrote my own finance book, Have More Money Now, was because I thought I could write a better book than what I was reading. I was writing books for me, not for necessarily to tell people how to invest, but to at least give people enough knowledge they can go and talk to a financial planner and know what they're talking about. And that's the key. When you're sitting down in front of these guys, these little nerds with money, and they're sitting there trying to big shot you, and there's, oh, this is complicated. Bullshit. You got my money. It's not that complicated. I want to know exactly what you're doing with it. And anybody who has money, who gives money to someone else and trusts somebody else, they need to be able to tell you in a very short, concise way what they are doing with your money. And that's the problem that guys make when they get shortchanged, when they get cheated, is because they don't know what somebody's doing. They go, oh, it's complicated. It's not that complicated. That guy is not any smarter than you. That guy or woman is not any smarter than you. The difference is it's just a matter of education. You're not educated to what that person's talking about with return, with percentages. Simple. Get educated. Make that person sit there and tell you. If you give them the money, they owe you to be able to explain to you exactly what they're doing with your money. And this isn't just for athletes. This is for anybody out there. Don't go to Schwab. Don't go to Edward Jones. Don't go to Ameritrade. Don't go anywhere and just say, hey, take my money. Let me know what's going on. And then they big shot you and say, oh, well, there's a lot of funds and bullshit. It's your money. It's their job to take care of your money at that point. They need to be able to explain to you, their boss, because that's the way it works. You're giving them money to take care of it, and you're paying them. They need to be able to explain to you exactly what they're doing with it. If they can't, run, don't walk, run out of that person's office.
Hey, and by the way, if you like that advice from JBL, can I recommend his financial podcast? It's called Have More Money Now. It's available for free on YouTube or anywhere you enjoy podcasts. Have More Money Now. And by the way, you won't need more money, but you will get better meat with our friends at Butcher Box. Grilling season is finally here. And let's just be honest. The difference between a good cookout and a great one comes down to the quality of your meat. You can have the best grill setup in the world, but if what you're cooking isn't great, man, it shows. That's why I've been using Butcher Box. They deliver premium, responsibly sourced meat right to your door. So you're starting with the good stuff every time. Just last week, the wife and I had a hankering for some really good cheeseburgers. And what she likes specifically are smash burgers. We made them with Butcher Box ground beef, and I'm going to tell you, they're the best ones yet. She said, honey, I can taste the difference. And that's because Butcher Box delivers over 100 different premium protein options straight to your door. From grass-fed beef to wild-caught seafood, it's all raised and sourced the right way. I'm talking no antibiotics, no added hormones, no fillers, just clean, reliable protein that you can feel good serving, especially during grilling season. That's when the quality really matters, especially if you're hosting. Better meat means better flavor, fewer mistakes on the grill, and meals that will actually live up to the moment. Whether it's a quick weeknight dinner or the full weekend cookout, it's also super flexible at Butcher Box. You can customize your box based on what you're cooking, and it all ships free with recipes, grilling tips, and exclusive deals. So whether you're a beginner or a grill master, you've got everything you need to make it a great season. I also want to make sure I repeat it. Do not sleep on the ground beef. I have to admit, for years and years, I was reaching for chops. And my favorite is, of course, steak. Now, the wife likes fillets. Dad likes the ribeyes. I like the strips. But the ground beef, I was sleeping on it. It's out of this world. When you get your Butcher Box, get you some ground beef. And as an exclusive offer, new listeners can get their choice between free sirloin tips, ground beef, ding, or chicken wings in every box for life, plus $20 off when you go to butcherbox.com/wrestle. That's right. You get your choice of free sirloin tips, ground beef, or chicken wings in every box for life, plus $20 off your first box and free shipping always. That's butcherbox.com/wrestle. Don't forget to use our link so they know that we sent you. John, we normally don't have guests here on Something to Wrestle, but we're making an exception today, and boy, is it a special one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Your friend and mine, Jacques Rougeau. Mr. Rougeau, how are you, sir?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on board, especially being an exception to the rule. I always like being an exception, so thanks for having me.
Comment allez-vous?
Ça va bien, mon ami, et toi?
Didier Gop, the referee from Paris, France. It was the heel referee for Otto. That's about all he taught me in 2 years. He did teach me a bit of things, but I can't say them on any time of thinking.
That's usually the things we learn from another language, is things you can't say on the air.
That's right. And the boys are never going to be one to tell you stuff that'll really help you. They'll always tell you stuff that, you'll believe so what I told him. He's going to say it. I know he will.
It's so funny because when I went to wrestle in Mexico, really briefly, I want to tell you this, in '78, I have no idea. I'm going to Mexico. So for me, it's like a dream trip. And when I get to Mexico, I realize they don't speak English and they don't speak French. They only speak Spanish. So a guy told me a couple of words to say when I was getting there. And it's so funny. They made a song out of it, Mamacita, you know. And I was telling all the girls, hola mamacita, and they were all looking at me like, and anyway, I learned fast that it was maybe not the nicest thing to say.
That's right.
Oh, of all the time that you guys have both been in the wrestling business, y'all never worked together, did you?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think ever in the ring together. We were at the same place. Yeah, we
Right.
both were in WWE when Jacques came back, in like '96 or something like that. But
Never had the privilege. Never had the privilege.
Never had the privilege to work with Jacques. Or Raymond, I don't believe.
I'll tell you what, it would have been great. I heard so many good things about you in ring, JBL. It would have been an honor.
We'd have had fun. You guys had so much heat. You guys, what a great tag team you guys were.
I think you had more heat than us.
It depends on where we were. If you came to Texas, yeah, you guys have a lot more heat. But if I went to Montreal, we'd get you.
Yeah, I had more heat in the dressing room. You had more heat with the fans.
That's right. Yeah.
Mr. Joe, I appreciate you making time to jump on with us. Earlier this month, we all were treated to a fabulous 4-part documentary on Netflix about Hulk Hogan called Real American. You were there through a lot of the Hulkamania craze, and even in WCW when he was a bad guy. What'd you think of the documentary? Have you had a chance to see it?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't look at it. I have my own personal memories of him, and I knew it was a WWE stunt, and they were there to film all that. So I'm not really attached to WWE. I had a falling out with them in '96, as a matter of fact, and since then, every time I see those letters, I just turn the TV off or don't. But I have much fonder memories, great memories with Hulk. So I apologize. Not that I want to disrespect Hulk for not looking at the things, but there's so many aspects of the business that I look at now that are political, to the advantage of people and for the good use of financial benefits, that I'd rather just keep the good memories I have with Hulk at his karaoke that I went to sing there, and then his match I had with him in Montreal, which was an absolute amazing thing that happened to me. And every time I crossed paths with him, he was just so nice to me. He would give me that big old hug, and I'd go somewhere, and I'd go to his shops in Orlando or in Clearwater, and he had his shops there as gift shops, and I'd go in there, and every time I'd come in, he'd always make fun, like in front of all the fans that were there. He'd say, "Oh no, brother, you're not coming to beat me up again, are you?" And and it was just, he had such respect for me, and I don't know why. He was the greatest thing, but I loved Hulk to death. Yeah.
Hey, Jacques, I got to wrestle Hogan later, in his career, earlier in mine, but I missed the whole Hogan era. I missed that incredible era that you were such a great part of. But we've been in the ring with Hogan. I remember just looking across the ring and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is so freaking cool. I'm in the ring with Hulk Hogan. You not only got to be in the ring with him, you got to be in the ring with him in your hometown. That had to be absolutely amazing, because the match I had was kind of an afterthought, is in Philadelphia. Yours was set up. Yours was promoted. That had to be incredible for you.
JBL, to be honest with you, it was the biggest moment in my career. It was not only a great moment, it was something amazing that man decided to put me over in the middle in the ring. No gimmicks, no chairs, no nothing, just a 1, 2, 3 simple small package at the end of the match, and in front of 20,000 fans, and it's so funny because it was all Hulk Hogan's fans. My fans had stayed home, but anyway, it was but it was an amazing time, and like you said, just all the build up and everything, and looking across the ring and having Hulk Hogan, the guy that in 1985 when I came to WWF was just bigger than life. Being on the same card as him as WrestleMania 3 against Andre the Giant at the Pontiac Silverdome, it's something that I think people, I don't know how to say this, but it's almost like a woman who gives birth to a child, and you try to say, oh man, I could just imagine how painful it is. Well, buddy, you can imagine because you haven't been there and you haven't done it, and and to explain how it is to be across the ring, and I'm glad that you, JBL, you witnessed that and you felt that just being across the ring from that man is like it's. I was nervous tying my boots. I was nervous. I had dry mouth. It was something extraordinary.
Jock, you grew up in the wrestling business. Your family is one of the most famous families of all time, and so you've seen a lot and you've done a lot, but the WrestleMania 3, that had to blow you away. I mean, sometimes when you walk out there, because I tell young people when they go out there in like their first WrestleMania match or their first match that's really big, take mental pictures, take time to memorize what you see, because you don't want to just have it become a blur. How cool was that for you to go out there in front of 93,000 people or whatever the heck it was? People disputed the number high and low, but what was that like to be out there in the Pontiac Silverdome?
It was so iconic, so amazing. It was the beginning of a new era. It was bringing WWE to a, not only there was 93,000 people in that building, there was 20,000 people in every arena around the world on pay-per-view. It was just the biggest event ever. It was like bringing wrestling up a notch, bringing all the entertainment business, the football players, the hockey players, the baseball players, the artists, the comedians, everybody started following wrestling at that time. Hulk made it so big. And I remember getting in the dressing room that morning and doing promos and stuff. And my brother Raymond, he told me, he says, hey, let's go and walk up at the building to see, in the bleachers, and we went all the way up to the top in the last seat. And I swear to God, it looked big like a mouse. Then you'd see the ring. It was so small. We were so far away. Thank God they had all those giant screens. But I remember tying my boots that night, going into the show against Valentine and Beefcake, and Dino Bravo was going to do the interference. Unfortunately, we lost that match. But anyway, it was amazing I was in the dressing room and I was tying my boots, and I swear, JBL, I was like, my boot was like this. And I'd been in the business many, many years, but never in a situation like that, because I knew that every eyes around the planet was watching you there. So you can make it or break it. And so the nerves were incredible. I never felt that way in any match in my life after that or before that, how nervous I was when I walked out and going on a golf cart all the way to the ring because it was so far.
And it's good you guys got the golf cart. A lot of these guys, you sit there and you look and you go, oh my God, I've got this incredible entrance. Warrior could have never made it. That running in it. He got blown up with 100 feet. He would have never made it. He actually would have died on the way to the ring.
That's funny that you say that. But it was something special. And like I said, never after that, I lived something like that, and I never will again. And like you said, I didn't take a picture of it, but I have so many fans and Comic-Cons that come to see me and bring me that big map of WrestleMania 3 where they have all the wrestlers signed on it. What an historical moment.
And you've actually got a Comic-Con coming up at the end of this month on May 30th, don't you?
Con, it's so amazing because, we've been working for 9 months. It's the first time we're going to do this. I partnered with some people in Gatineau, Ottawa, the area. It's right across the bridge from Ottawa, the capital of Canada. And there's GPW Wrestling now is a federation that's been going for 5-6 years. And we're organizing the first Comic-Con. And it's so huge. And I got to tell you a few names that are there, but we're so excited. We've been there for like 9 months working this project. We got guys like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Coco Beware. My brother Raymond and I will be there. Greg the Hammer Valentine, Kelly, Jacqueline, Sean Mooney. If you remember Sean Mooney, was awesome. Sarah Page, who's identical to China. She's going around the world. You met her, JBL. We were with her in Europe at Sarah Page. Now Rhino's going to be there, the Headbangers. And then imagine this. Tito Santana and Rick Martel. Martel is making his second appearance in 30 years. He did one in New York about a month ago, and he's doing one with us. And I can't imagine how the lines are going to be big and fun so people could come and meet us. And there's on and on. There's Jimmy Cordero, the referee. There's also Gino Brito. I don't know, JBL or Conrad, if you ever heard of Gino Brito. He was a famous wrestler in the years with Dino Bravo and the Martel and the Rougeaus in our days, like in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He's going to be there. And there's also going to be Diana Smith, actually, and Georgia. Smith is going to be there, and of course Harry Smith is going to be there too, which.
Hey, wait a minute. Harry Smith's going to be there. You got a little bit of a rivalry with the Bulldogs and the Mounties. There could be an issue here. You know, your old partner, the Pirate, is still out there wrestling a little bit. And I just wrestle a little bit. He's doing great. He looks fantastic. A little bit of problem could happen there with Harry Smith and Mountie again, huh?
Yeah, well, you know what, JBL, it's the big feud came with my brother Raymond, actually, with the Fabulous Rougeau brothers and the Bulldogs. It was known Dynamite Kid was a big bully in those days, and unfortunately, and such a great talent, but outside the ring, sometimes he could be a little monster. And he picked on guys who weren't fighters, actually real fighters, which I wasn't. I'm an artiste. I'm not a fighter. And so he started picking on me, bullying me, and then actually beat me up in the dressing room. And because I was going to tell Vince about it. And then 1 week later, I defended myself, and I did a big comeback on him, which I don't know where I had the nerves to do it, or I don't know why. Probably for the Rougeau family name, or I did something bigger than life, bigger than I thought I could. And it stuck with it because the last 30 years, I've been doing podcasts and interviews, and I always go back to that incident because it was a traumatizing time in my life. But I always referred to that incident as an incident with the British Bulldogs. And Harry Smith, in the last 20 years or 15 years he's been wrestling, people have been coming up to him and saying things like, hey, Rougeau is still talking about the Bulldogs. And Harry Smith, you know, I became friends with his dad, Davey Boy, after the incident. 2 years later, Dynamite disappeared from the map, but Davey Boy came back and as an individual wrestler, and we made peace. And I actually took a picture with Harry when he was 4 or 5 years old, and that was the last time I saw him. But Harry's a little. He says he's upset because he says I always referred to the British Bulldogs, that I should have referred to the incident with Dynamite Kid and not the British Bulldogs. He says that I'm darkening the legends of the British Bulldog, which for me, I wasn't really picking on his dad. I was just saying the British Bulldogs because that's how they were known, the British Bulldogs. And so he sent me a couple of messages now. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble with me on the 30th of May. The promoters.
Wait a minute. You both are going to be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and the promoters and from my partners in Gatineau, I don't know if they're playing a rib on me or something at the beginning, like 6 months ago, or they thought they'd be selling tickets. But the issue has gotten a little further now because I don't know if Harry is playing a joke here or he's playing his character, but he's sending a couple of videos to people and to TV stations that he doesn't appreciate me talking about the Bulldogs like that. And you know what's funny is, we all know wrestling's a work and it's choreographed and we have great times and we try to put scenarios together to make it exciting for the fans. But every time I try to talk to him, he's not answering me back. And the only thing I'm getting from him is messages like, hey, Jacques Rougeau, I'm glad to be in the Royal Rumble, but I'm much more glad to be across the ring from you. And I'll see you there. And just little messages like that. And it's funny because I'm saying to myself, you know, that's it's good heat, you know, but the thing is I'm a little uncomfortable because he won't talk to me outside, you know, offline or on Messenger or anything. He's not answering me back. But anyway, we'll see. It's not my first rodeo, but I got to tell you, it's very intriguing. But a lot of people are calling me up and they're telling me, Jacques, you should hurt yourself before the Rumble and say you can't get in it, like, you know, or something. And I'm saying, no. This is my hometown, buddy, my home province. I'm going in the Rumble, so we'll see. But anyway, I'll let this say. It's funny because tomorrow night, actually, tomorrow I'm in New Jersey for WrestleCon, and he's going to be there. And it's the first time I'm going to be meeting him in a Comic-Con before we get to mine on the 30th of May. So I was telling my girlfriend before, I said, hey, I'm going to go see him at his table tomorrow. You know, he won't have a choice to answer me then. I'll just go and see him there. And I said, but I'm going to film it to make sure that if anything happens, I want everybody to see it. But it's funny because I always said, you know, JBL, I always said something in this business. It's funny. You know, the angles that drew the most in my career, for my part, are the angles where people didn't know if it was real or not. Like, you know, the closer you got to the reality of an angle or something, the more it drew. And so this is drawing a lot of people because we have like 2,500 tickets sold, out of the building that holds 5,000, but we're 2.5 weeks before the show. And so we're expecting to have like 4,000 people, something like that, or hopefully 5,000 to come and see the show. But the interest is building. Everybody's riding on this wave of Harry Smith and Jacques Rougeau making fun of it. But I'm the one at the other end saying, hey, guys, cool it down now. Like, don't put too much gasoline on the fire there. Like, anyway.
Hey, this is great, Jacques. I mean, I don't watch much wrestling. I would watch this. This is
oh, you want to take my place?
No, I don't. He's a big kid. I'm old.
You never know what to expect with Mr. Rougeau, man. He's everywhere, including the brand new Ghostmaster Resurrection game. It's a puzzle strategy game. The gamer is in the role of the Ghostmaster, who must free a variety of ghosts from their entrapment. And once free, the Ghostmaster assigns the spirits to haunt the innocent people. Ghostmaster Resurrection Season Pass allows the gamer to have ongoing access to new ghosts, new characters, new levels, and new features to add on to the game. And now through December, there'll be monthly updates in the form of downloadable content, DLC, where you can buy individually, or the Season Pass, which provides all the DLCs all at once for less money. Ghostmaster Resurrection and the Season Pass are both available on Steam, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox XS. One of the new characters coming out on July 30th is our guest today, the supernatural officer Jacques Rougeau. Of course, you remember him as the Mountie, and of course, part of the fabulous Rougeau brothers, and of course, with his brother Raymond. But we've actually got a trailer. Let's take a look.
The Ghostmaster's Resurrection continues in all new DLC with all new experiences. The supernatural officer Jacques Rougeau will rise. I am the supernatural officer, and I will bring the law.
Ghostmaster Resurrection available now across all the supported platforms. Choose to build your collection one chapter at a time, or dive right in with that Season Pass. Ghostmaster Resurrection continues to grow into the definitive supernatural strategy experience. Mr. Rougeau, you never fail to entertain me and surprise me, man. You're going to get in a fight with a British bulldog, and you're in a video game. What the hell is going on?
You know what, Conrad? I got to tell you, I'm so honored that this company Strategy First came and chose me to have this character, which is not even a wrestling game. It's a game. It's fun. It's a game that exists in 2003. It's existing, the Ghostmasters, and now they put my character in there. So my legend's gonna live in this. I'm not a gamer. It's like sending a plumber to an electrician job. I've never gamed in my life, but there I am in the gaming, and I'm so honored and thrilled. But anyway, the fun part I know about this character is fun is like to give you an example. If you come to, I'm talking about the Habs right now because the Montreal Canadiens were doing so well in hockey, and let's say we have the Buffalo Sabres at home, and then you always have these guys from Buffalo that drive up to Montreal and buy these nice seats, and then they come boo the Canadians. They're bad fans, and so my character, the Ghostmaster, you could get me in that game, and you could go make me bully and harass the fans that are not Montreal Canadian fans. And so it's fun. And it's a character that looks like the Mountie. So I'm so privileged and honored that the Rougeau name continues, and I'm flattered. I really am.
Super cool.
How did this come about? This is really cool to be the supernatural officer.
This guy, Emmanuel Wall, he's from Montreal, and he's in this company Game Worldwide, and he's always been a Jacques Rougeau fan and the Rougeau family fan. And he just came up to me one time and he said, Jacques, I want to do something with you. And I think he also, I don't know if this is good and bad, but the fact that we're not in the Hall of Fame, the Rougeau brothers, this guy's mad. So he said to me, he says, I'm going to immortalize you, man. I'm going to immortalize you. But he's a great guy. Strategy First, a great company. And I'm very humbled to be in this position. And thank you guys for taking the time today to talk about all this with me. I don't deserve it, but thank you so much.
Oh, of course you do. We greatly appreciate you making time to jump on with us. Hope you have a super successful event on May 30th.
And I think you guys should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way, in case I ever get a vote, I'm voting yes.
Thank you, JBL. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I think if it wasn't even just me, just a Rougeau name, because, we're 4 generations of wrestlers. And since my great uncle Eddie Auger, my dad Jacques Rougeau, and my uncle Johnny Rougeau were such amazing people, were wrestled in Japan, everywhere in the States, and then Raymond and I, and then my 3 sons wrestled for my company. I think we entertained the people for over 75 years, and I think we always did. I think we always did a good job. I always considered that we always had great matches, and I always said to myself, to create Batman, you need a good Joker, and Raymond and I, we were the Jokers, but you need both to have a great match, and so hopefully one day I'll have my spot in the Hall of Fame.
Well, we greatly appreciate all that you've done for us wrestling fans through the years. Tell everybody how they can come see you at your event on May 30th. Where can they pick up tickets now?
Oh my God, jpwwrestling.com. You could go on jacquesrougeau.com, go on my website. There's links to go there. But if you have a chance to come and see me, I would like to say this is my retirement match. You're going to see me for the last time, but it's my 3rd retirement match, so I'd be lying. But apart from that, if Harry Smith lets me live through this one, but come and see me on May 30th. The Royal Rumble is going to be amazing. Plus so many other matches, so many legends in the afternoon. If you're anywhere in the northeast of the United States or Canada, come to May 30th, Gatineau, Quebec. You'll have a great, great day.
We look forward to it. Congrats and good luck on what may be your last match. Hope you have a blast.
Maybe.
SaveWithConrad.com.
My name's Daryl. Came from Massachusetts and I moved to Wisconsin. And there's a lot of people that might be asking, why go with Conrad? Why go with Supreme Lending? And let me tell you something, brother. I think about the credentials, the tag team partner that I'd be working with. First of all, we got the Podfather himself, Conrad. How can you go wrong with that? And then also go on to SaveWithEric.com, which, who else could have kicked Vince's ass for 83 consecutive weeks? You can't beat that duo right there. But they did bring a secret weapon, and I didn't realize this because this was not advertised. I worked closely with Larry the Axe Thompson. And let me tell you, with all the stress with moving across the country with a large family that I have, it was reassuring to know that I had the enforcer at my back, handling questions from the other side of sellers, the other side with trying to find the right prices. He took care of all that. All I had to do was keep my eye on the prize and make it there to Wisconsin. They were absolutely fantastic. They checked in on me, especially Francis, very patient with me. I don't go through this process all the time, so I trusted the experts. I was able to call them. They called me if they had questions, and it felt like it was a personal arrangement. There was even a point in which, from the seller side, they wanted something else that wasn't part of the norm. Francis straight up told me, hey, we're loyal to you. We'll do whatever you want to do, and we'll make sure that you guys are taken care of. They came through. I made it to the dream. I'm the champion of my own destiny here. They were able to help pave the way for me and my family. I couldn't be more happy with the results. I went from having less than an acre to now 20 acres worth of land. They made that dream a reality. I'm Daryl, and I'm living in Friendship, Wisconsin, in my dream home, thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
Animal lesson number 212, non-equal housing lender. SaveWithConrad.com. Let me give you a little plug. I don't know that you guys have been keeping up with John's 5 best bets, and I will admit we do got to get him a graphics guy, because he's just handwriting on a sheet of paper, on a notebook sheet of paper every single day what he's betting, and he's doing it in advance, so it's easy to audit and go check it out. But John, there you go. He's keeping up with it every day. I mean, I saw you as we're recording this morning. I saw you post this morning. This is belt to sportsbooks asses. You're on a roll right now, are you not?
I mean, Conrad, it is absolutely unbelievable. I'm about 35 plus units for the month. And again, I literally, my graphics are world class. Here's my graphics right here. I show the bets before the day. It's not like I'm bullshitting anybody. It's all free. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. It's what I'm doing. I love gambling. And
I forgot. I got to look here. I've had how many bets I've had. I got about 20 bets a day. And so 13 days, I've had 300 something bets this month already, but I'm up 35 freaking units. I was up about 2.7 units yesterday, or 2.6 or something like that, but it's all documented. It's all free. And I'm on an absolute belt to sportsbook asses right now. We not only opened up a can, we opened up a 6-pack of whoop ass right now. This may stop and I may lose everything the rest of the month. I have no idea, but right now we're on top.
To be clear, we do not have a gambling sponsor. We're not selling you picks. We're just saying, go out of your way. If you're a type of guy who likes this sort of thing, follow JBL on social media. He's posting his picks and he's doing it for free, but he's having a lot of fun. Again, we're not giving financial advice here. We're just saying our buddy's having a blast, and you can follow along or play along if you'd like.
Yeah, and I give out reasons for most of my bets. At least the top bets. The top are like the top 5 bets. I bet those a little bit more, 1.25 bets. Compared to one for units. And so, but I give out reasons to do it. So if you want to just come on, and I have people tell me all the time, hey, I picked out several winners that you had, and fortunately they didn't pick out any losers that day. But you pick out what you want. There's nothing to link to. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing. It's just me talking sports on 5 best bets.
Well, the whole world is going to be talking sports this weekend because Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano are hooking it up, and they're doing it on Netflix. This is a part of Jake Paul's MVP promotions, and it's not just the ladies in the main event. The undercard's incredible too. Junior Dos Santos is on this card. Nate Diaz is on this card. Francis Ngannou is on this card, and I'm sure there's going to be some bright young superstars. It's all going down this Saturday. That's tomorrow as you're listening here in Los Angeles. It's on Netflix. John, what do you make of this? It feels like a shift. For years and years, the MMA game has been ruled and dominated by the UFC. And I don't know, 15 years ago or so, Affliction popped up and they tried to do something, and there's been a lot of other guys, WEC, Elite XC. There's been a lot of little pop-ups through the years, Strike Force and others. But it feels like this has kind of been a one-horse race. But Netflix is such a juggernaut, such a monster. And we know they've carried lots of other, I don't want to call them sideshows, but spectacles, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson and that sort of thing. Well, now here you've got what was once, maybe 15 years ago, a dream match in MMA for the ladies. But they're main eventing on Netflix. Does this represent an opportunity for outside of MMA? Because I don't know the answer. I don't pretend to know the answer. But if I'm Brock Lesnar, I might say, you know what? I want to go have one last MMA match over there.
Holy shit. Will that guy draw money?
Holy unbelievable.
Oh my God. 2 things you've said in the last month that blew me away was Brock might be negotiating by retiring surreptitiously and just kind of doing it. And that blew me away. I thought, my God, if that's it, that's the greatest negotiation ever. We have no idea. You and I, neither one have any idea if that's true or not. That's just total speculation. But my God, that is what a sentence that is. But Brock having one more fight.
Come on.
Reef. Lord, take my money. Take my money now. I mean, the thing is, like with these great fighters, like Gina Carano, she's a terrific fighter. A very appealing character. People are drawn to her just like they are Ronda Rousey for very good reasons. One of the biggest draws of all time. I think it's fantastic what they're doing. Is it an opportunity? Oh my God, is it? Yes. Look at what's going on in the independents right now. You can't compete with WWE as far as the global infrastructure and what they've got, but can you compete and make a lot of money? Not compete, but can you make a lot of money? Absolutely. I mean, there's a real spot there for another group. I think Netflix could hit it out of the park here. And I hopefully the show's good. I mean, you've got some interesting characters. I mean, I love Nate Diaz. Who doesn't? My God, man, that guy you just want to watch this guy fight. You want to watch this guy talk. He's like Chael Sonnen. Some guys you're just drawn to, and he's one of them. He's just fun. I'm very excited about this.
I'm excited about what the potential opportunities are on the other side of it. Now that UFC sort of has a fixed income with Paramount, like they know since all their events are going to be on Paramount, like whether or not they sell more or less pay-per-view doesn't really matter. The whole model's changed. So because the business has changed, I do wonder how many other guys like John Jones or Conor McGregor or Brock Lesnar, because those were sort of the giant pillars that helped build the UFC into the juggernaut they are now. Well, we see Gina Carano was never there, but Ronda Rousey, once upon a time, was one of the biggest draws in the UFC. So it does feel like, hey, it would be natural to sort of continue this trend, but it does beg the question, could a one-off event like this, a big super card like this, could this ever work for pro wrestling, or will it always have to be under the confines of one company or another?
Could it? Good Lord, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, the world is begging right now for some Super Bowl of indies. Yes, 100%. Yeah, we've talked about this before. I've talked to a lot of people about it before. I think there's a huge demand for something like this. Now, a lot of these guys are being, snapped up by the bigger guys for a good reason. I mean, WWE has 4 million TV shows. they need a lot of characters. So they're able to snap up guys and find spots for them, guys and girls. I say guys as a gender neutral term, but guys and girls, and snap them up. But is there a demand for like some type of Super Bowl indie show? Oh my God, is there? Yes, just as much as there's big demand for this.
Well, I'm excited about the possibility of it. Once upon a time, maybe we were too early. We did Ric Flair's last match, and it was totally independent, and we got a lot of attention, but it was on pay-per-view. But doing something like that on a streaming service, like if so-and-so wants to have their last match, like, I'm not saying, that I wish it would have happened, but I guess I kind of do wish it would have happened. I loved me some Kurt Angle, and I didn't think like his last match in WWE. I love Baron Corbin too, but it didn't feel like it had the right story and the right fit for Kurt's last match. I would have loved to have seen there be a longer tail. I'm glad that Ronda and Gina are maybe in a little more control for what may be their final match. I'd love that for pro wrestling too, though. I hope that becomes a thing.
Yeah, I do too. I think there's a real opportunity out there. And I think there's an opportunity out there with so many different these streaming services that just need content that can go out there and put on some type of super indie show, whether it's a Super Bowl of indie mania, whatever you want to call it. I think Matt Cardona has trademarked one of the names for that. Very smart to do that, by the way. But I think there's a real demand for that. A lot of these older guys, some of these younger guys, some of these guys people don't know, to put together a show like this. I was down in I love going to these independent shows. A lot of times I go in and I'll clothesline somebody or do something or whatever. I'm going into one this weekend in Chattanooga. But I was down in Texas at Wrestling Pro 360. There's this kid, Will Allday. He's a kid to me. He's just fantastic. I mean, you're sitting there watching this guy in the crowd every time. They love this guy. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, there's so much talent out there in the indies. To get the best talent, put them all together and put them in a couple shows a year or several shows a year. I think there's a real demand for this.
Well, we want to know from you guys. Would you watch, would you support a one-off pro wrestling event? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know, are you interested in this one-off MMA event? Like, they haven't really announced a promotion, but the rumor and innuendo is that this is not a one-off thing for either Jake or for Ronda. I think Ronda may be positioning herself. I could be wrong, but the way she was sort of advocating for herself and the fighters at the press conference, it feels like she's trying to position herself like the female Dana White of whatever this new Netflix promotion may be.
Yeah, she may be. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what her background is. She's certainly a big name. I mean, she was one of the greatest draws. She helped build the women's division in MMA. Incredible job. And so, yeah, I think she certainly has the name to be able to do it. I don't know if her working with Jake, most likely. Don't know if they can get along or not. I don't know Jake very well. Don't know Ronda very well either. I've just met her a few times. She's always been very polite and very respectful, as have I to her. But I think it'd be very interesting. I think Jake Paul is hitting on all cylinders. I mean, this guy and his brother. I mean, for one, they look fantastic. I don't know how they have time to work out. They must work 20 hours a day, and they still have time to work out. So does The Rock, by the way. Just pisses me off because he looks good. That's the reason he makes me mad. Him and Billy Gunn and Al Snow, they all piss me off. I hate them all.
I love you for that. Hey, let's talk a little bit about some of the cuts that we've seen post WrestleMania. There's a lot of discussion about this guy, that guy, here, there, and yon. But Dave Meltzer reported last week that one of the reasons that people are being given for the cuts, and I thought this was interesting, is that SmackDown's going from 3 hours to 2 hours. Now, I know that some people are going to cry foul on that because there's different promotions who at different times have had a very bloated roster, but that is a real practical reason. Like, if you don't have as much TV time, you don't need as much talent. I know layoffs suck, But that reasoning, does that hold water for you? 3 hours to 2 hours?
I think it can. Yeah. Look, I'm not such a big on bashing WWE over this. You know, I played the NFL. I played not the NFL. I played pro football because I played in the World League mainly, and it was NFL just a cup of coffee, not enough to even mention. But World League, and I got cut after my third year. You know, and we didn't have the internet back then, but I certainly wouldn't have gone on the internet and cried about it for the next 2 years. That, hey, look how much the NFL's making. They're cutting me. How could they do that? That's life. That's life with WWE. I mean, it's just life in business. I mean, look at companies like Apple or Facebook, and they cut people. And you go, oh, they're making so much money. Yeah, but that's business. You know, that's one of the reasons they're making so much money. I mean, they don't adopt you. You know, and so look. Is it legit that they say it's going from 3 hours to 2? I think it probably is. But I think it's more legit that they're just cutting people that they think they don't need, or at least need right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any right or wrong in any of this. They're running a business, they're making business decisions, but it is interesting that online people often look for answers. They want to know who's to blame, who made the decision, who can we be mad at?
Well, that's fun. That's fun to do that. You know, it's fun to armchair quarterback. That's why people love to do it. They get on their chat groups. They love to go on podcasts and talk about it. You know, that's what people do. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself either. Dose is a sponsor of our show today, and it's something that John and I have been rocking for a while. When I first told my wife that we were going to start promoting Dose on the podcast, she went to the cabinet and she pulled some out. She's been rocking Dose for a minute. And I know that a lot of people might not feel like they're comfortable taking something for the rest of their lives for their cholesterol. But I want you to know this is really, really easy. You know, there is a liver health crisis here in America, and it's probably unavoidable for the average American. But if you don't want to get on one of those traditional therapies and get stuck taking capsules that you're not comfortable taking for the rest of your life, look for Dose for Cholesterol. It's a clinically backed cholesterol support supplement that targets your triglycerides, your LDL, your HDL, and your total cholesterol levels. And that's why more Americans are turning to gentle alternatives with ingredients that they recognize. Things like ginger and pomegranate. And this is a great alternative. I'm talking about Dose for Cholesterol from all of those nasty capsules. Here's what I love about this with Dose. It's so easy to work into your regular morning routine. It's just a daily 2-ounce liquid shot. It tastes like mango. There's no capsules. There's no powders. It's just really easy to work into your routine. And as I mentioned, it's ingredients you're familiar with. I mean, turmeric and pomegranate. These are things that we all know. Dose for Cholesterol is a way to self-manage your cholesterol health as an alternative to those other conventional therapies. Dose for Cholesterol gets delivered right to your door too. So getting the support you need for your health is really easy to stick to, and it tastes good. You're going to love the way you feel, but you're also going to love when you see real results on your blood work. Tony Schiavone just told me this past week, he just got his first blood panel done and he sees a difference. Eric Bischoff's been rocking this for a while. He claims it is a game changer. Eric's feeling better. Tony's feeling better. You should too. Go right now. New customers will save 35% off your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/wrestle or entering Wrestle at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/wrestle, and you'll get 35% off your first month subscription. John, let's talk a little bit about house shows. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about house shows recently. Should they exist? Should they not exist? Drew McIntyre didn't think they made sense and they weren't profitable. And we've certainly heard some TKO executives say that, that's maybe not the highest and best use. Well, it turns out WWE has announced 10 live events as a part of their summer tour. They're going to go from July 11th through August 30th throughout the United States. They're going to be in New Mexico starting on the 11th and the 12th, over to Pennsylvania on the 16th, Stockton, California, and Bakersfield on the 25th and 26th. July 30th, they're in Springfield, Illinois, Fairfax, Virginia on deck on the 6th. New Hampshire gets a show on the 13th. Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina are August 29th and 30th. These are not necessarily A towns. They're not huge markets. But I would argue that there's a good strategy from running the smaller towns for house shows like this, because it feels like an event when WWE rolls into a smaller town, right?
Yeah, 100%. There was only 2 towns there that two dates that were back to back. You had August 29th and 30th. I think July 11th and 12th. Yeah, 11th, 12th. Las Cruces and Albuquerque, and then Savannah and Charleston. I don't know why, if you're going to do it, I don't know why you wouldn't run at least back-to-back, maybe 3 towns, in areas, because that saves on cost. You fly people in, then they get to rent a car, and they're able to just drive in between towns and fly out. So there's only the one flight in and one flight out for 2 or 3 towns. They're able to amortize that. That's what WWE did for years. Look, I'm not pushing for house shows. I think it's great that guys don't have to work and girls don't have to work, but I think it would certainly help. It's how else are you going to learn how to work? These guys who are already don't know how to work, who are learning. That's why producers are so important right now. Producers are the most important thing in a lot of respects, with a lot of talent in the business, because they're the ones that put these matches together from A to Z. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to say, they should be calling all in the ring. I could care less. Have a good match. Savage and Steamboat certainly didn't call it in the ring. Then they had a terrific match. So you can do it both ways. I think it's safer to be able to call in the ring. That way, if something happens, you're able to adjust on the fly, or if people don't buy what you're selling. But also, you're going to try a million different things. I think your talent will get infinitely better having house shows regularly than they will by not having them. So I think this is a good step in the right direction. But also, look, you're going to make money. I was talking to someone recently the other day. I won't say who. He's the person that I fucking stole his podcast. But I was talking to that person the other day, and he told me how much money they were making in one of these towns. It was like, I can't remember what it was, like a tier 2 town. There's like $1 million something. I mean, the rent had to be like $18 for the building or something. It was like, what the fuck? It's like, hey, if you will just pay the light bill, there's like coins in the lights, like the old tennis courts, and we'll let you have the arena for free. So yeah, you can make some money with this stuff.
I was really surprised. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was kind of surprised, A, that Raw was in Knoxville this week, and B, that Roman Reigns was there. Rumor and innuendo is my man only flies private. And I'm thinking, man, once upon a time, a private jet for a wrestling show in Knoxville would have felt unfathomable. What are you talking about? Like, what?
Yeah. I'm going to Chattanooga this week. That's where Audie Murphy died, by the way. So not to bring up something negative with a private jet. Hopefully Chimmel's private jet goes down this weekend if he's on one. It's like an elephant cargo ship. It's like changing. It's like the Spruce Goose. He got the Spruce Goose from Howard Hughes, and that's how Chimmel gets around from town to town. We were in Knoxville a while back. Buddy Landale walks in. So we had this, oh my God, this is great. I love Buddy. He's nuts. I mean, Buddy's fucking nuts, for those that knew him, but a good dude. Buddy didn't have a mean bone in his freaking body. Buddy was I liked Buddy. So Buddy's there. We got Stone Cold and The Rock are the hottest things in the freaking world. You put their names on any billboard in the world, they sell that damn thing out. And their names are on the outside on the billboard. Buddy Landale's name's not anywhere on the billboard. So Buddy comes in, and when he sits there, somebody goes, "Hey, Buddy, thanks for the house." Buddy goes, "You bet, baby." Just kept walking. Didn't even phase Buddy. Buddy was nuts, absolutely nuts. That was Knoxville. Sorry.
He's got to be one of the more entertaining talking heads in the history of wrestling, is he not?
Oh my God, Buddy Landale was awesome. He was one of the best guys. I mean, just one of the best guys. He could give you a chop and leave the whole handprint, like Andre the Giant's shirt, but he'd leave the whole handprint on your chest. He came into Japan, and Kendo Nagasaki, back when he was, all gassed up and everything, he looked all great. Well, he comes to Japan, he's not all gassed up. Kendo Nagasaki sees him and goes, "What happened?" it was so fucking good. Like, dude, your chest sunk like into your belly.
When did you start with Vince in the WWF? What was the month and year?
December 95.
That's what I thought. Were you at that Bethlehem, Pennsylvania show?
Yeah, sure was. When it snowed so much. Yeah. That was my tryout match with Savio.
So you had your tryout match the same time that Landale slipped on the ice.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, 100%. Yeah, and the crowd, there was like 200 people in the crowd because they declared a state of emergency in the whole state of Pennsylvania. And so they had, literally like 200 people, and they put them all on one side of the arena. You had nobody. And I mean, like 80% of the arena. But WWE shot that damn thing like it was full. That's why I wanted to talk about these guys now that you see they're shooting stuff in the arenas and you see like empty sections. I mean, that you just need to fire somebody. If they're that stupid to film that. I mean, WWE used to film buildings that would be 20% full and they made it look like it was sold out. But that's what they did in Bethlehem. Yeah, I was there when Buddy fell.
It's such an amazing show. I feel like one day we need to get Ian Riccaboni on and us do a deep dive on that show. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, only 1,500 fans there. It was done 2 days before Christmas. Or I'm sorry, that's when it aired. It was done on the 19th and then aired 4 days later. The dark match that day, there were 3 or 4 dark matches, but the first one through the curtain, Savio Vega versus John Hawk. I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
He ain't gonna make it.
And then we got Samu and the Tahitian Warrior taking on the Spiders 1 and 2, which I'll admit I would not have guessed, but that was the Headbangers before they were the Headbangers. Then Owen Hart and Henry O. Godwin. And how about this 6-man tag? Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and The Undertaker taking on Owen Hart, Sid, and Yokozuna. Later in the show, we would see the Smoking Guns with Rad Radford and Skip. Sonny's there. Santa Claus.
Yes.
One of the rare appearances for Santa Claus. Process this. This is filmed on the 19th of December. It's going to air on the 23rd. And it's a future Balls Mahoney as an evil Santa Claus managed by Ted against Scott Taylor, who we know is going to become Scotty Too Hottie. And then Buddy Landell has his cup of coffee before he slips on the ice and ruins his opportunity. And his opponent that night, do you remember?
No.
Matt Hardy.
Really?
I mean, what a card this would have been to be at, don't you think? There's so much history on this thing.
It was unreal. I mean, I didn't know that many guys. You know, I've been in Europe for 2 years basically. I had a little break, could come home, and I got hurt 1 year when I was in Europe. I go to Japan some, but I've been in Europe for 2 years, so I didn't know hardly any of the guys. You know, I come in and I just met some of the guys. I obviously knew Glenn was there. I didn't hear him on the card, but Glenn was there. Jacobs, I knew him because we were tag team partners in Europe. But I didn't know hardly anybody. I just knew the guys who'd been in Texas, been in Europe, and I'd met Japan. So I didn't know a lot of the guys, but so it was really cool to see a pretty eclectic group of guys. Boy, Balls Mahoney makes Buddy, not Buddy Landell. Oh my God, the guy, Black Bart's old tag team partner, the one out of Kansas City. Bobby Jaggers makes Bobby Jaggers look honest. That guy could sit there and make up the greatest. He told us one time, I believe it was him, he killed a shark with a spork, like a spoon with a fork on the end of it.
It's an unbelievable show when you really think about all that happened.
Did you miss that? I just said he killed a shark with a spork.
I don't really know where to go with that.
He told us also he squatted 1,000 pounds when he was a teenager.
That sounds legit. This same show aired vignettes for the debuts of Mankind and Vader. I mean, it's such an interesting, it doesn't feel like it's a big deal, Stabler Arena, Bethlehem during a blizzard, but there's so much stuff that's born out of the show. It's crazy.
Yeah. Now was Goldust, not Goldust, Goldust. Was Goldust, was Dustin there? Or was Steve there? Steve was there, right? Steve was there as ringmaster, but did he work?
Neither of those guys are on this particular card. After Buddy Landell and Matt Hardy, it was Henry O. Godwin and the Brooklyn Brawler. And the main event that night was the British Bulldog versus Marty Jannetty.
Wow.
Now, don't forget, we had a great dark match with the 6-man. I mean, you got Brett, Razor, Undertaker, Owen, Sid, Yoko. You got a lot of main eventers there in one match, but a Superstars taping that we're still talking about and feeling the aftershocks from all these years later. But Buddy Landell, man, what could have been?
Yep, that's right.
I talked to 2 types of people about Buddy Landell. They say, hey, this guy could have been a big star like an Eddie Gilbert. It just didn't work out. And other folks say, Buddy was always going to self-sabotage. Buddy was Buddy's worst enemy. Where do you land on that?
Buddy was Buddy's worst enemy and the nicest guy in the world. Buddy was a good dude, man. I love Buddy. Buddy was a good guy, but he was just, God, talk about self-sabotage. I mean, just unbelievable. So we used to go work out. We were in Ueno Station in Tokyo,
and we used to go work out at Animal Hamaguchi's gym down by, it's where I got a bunch of these swords, the samurai swords. There at Wino Station. When I finally signed with the bigger group, I always wanted to buy one of these swords, but I didn't have the money. So I went down to that station, that Wino Station, by the world's biggest Shiite shrine, and I bought these swords. But right by there was Animal Hamaguchi's gym. It was upstairs. It's where Funaki broke in the business. He used to be a young boy there at the gym, clean up everything, for the gym. But Buddy Landell, we go to the gym one morning. Buddy decides to find something to make himself feel better. Somewhere in Tokyo, he finds it. It's just pretty hard to do. A lot of guys couldn't find anything. So we get out. There's Buddy, and he's feeling really good. So I said, hey, you guys want to go down to the big Shiite shrine down at the end and see it? And they said, yeah, we'd love to. So I took the guys down there. A lot of them had not been to Tokyo before. I take them down there to see the big shrine. And at the time, they had a religious ceremony going on. I guess Buddhism or whatever it was. It was their religion. And so Buddy walks into this place. Now he's feeling pretty good. He goes, hey, baby, the tomb of my Savior's empty. And I'm like, Buddy, that's a really horrible idea. Buddy just starts bashing their religion and talking about the tomb of his Savior is empty. He'd been like doing this televangelist gimmick. And so when he got back home, he called his buddy minister and stooged himself for feeling really good and told on himself. We could hear him because the walls were so thin in Japan. You could hear what anybody's saying in the whole freaking hotel on your floor. So yeah. Buddy was the biggest self-sabotage in the world. He could work though. Buddy could work and Buddy could talk. Buddy was a good dude, man. You would have loved Buddy. Everybody loved Buddy.
You mentioned that the walls were so thin you could hear what was going on the other side. Did you ever share a wall with another wrestler and hear anything interesting, John?
You think? There weren't that many rats like in Japan. The girls that ring rats. There weren't that many rats around. So guys just mainly what you'd hear is somebody have way too much to drink and try to call her home or something and something go wrong. And start yelling at their wife or something. Duncombe did that one time. Duncombe had an echo. I talked to his wife about it. She told me the same story. Bobby calls home and goes, hey, that's how Bobby, any phone that Bobby called on, that's what he said. Hey. So he goes, hey. So some guy answers back, hey. And Bobby goes, who the fuck is this? Well, we've been out drinking. And he got this echo that came right back at you. So he gets mad at his wife and hangs up on her. He thinks he's going to go home and leave her. And the next morning he tells us about it. I go, Bobby, there was an echo on the phone. He goes, oh, maybe that was it. So he calls his wife again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I told that at his funeral.
What a life you've lived. I can only imagine what you would have heard on like the other side of like the Rock and Roll Express. Like imagine sharing a room and on the other side is Ric Flair or Ricky Morton or the Godfather. I mean, there's gotta be crazy stories.
Yeah, absolute crazy. I mean, guys did all kinds of crazy things. I mean, back then we didn't, close. By the time you landed in Japan, you had jet lag and you never really got over it for a lot of times. Now, if you're there like 4 or 5 weeks, you would, but it took you a while to get over it. Plus you're going out every night and sponsors took you out every night in Japan. It was part of the gig. And so they'd take you out and you'd drink till whenever in the morning. I mean, good Lord, man, drink almost till sunup with these guys. They'd want to take you out and they'd take you out to their bars. They'd take you out and kind of show you off a little bit, but they'd treat you like freaking royalty. I mean, they were fantastic to be with, but it was every single night. I mean, the first time I got there, I was tagging with Bob Orton Jr. And I didn't know I didn't know myself much. I didn't know anybody. I got to go out with Bob every night with sponsors. It was freaking awesome, man. It was so much fun because plus things cost a fortune in Japan. And so, when I go out, I would, drink, as much as I could. Plus I'd take a few beers back, plus a few like sodas back too to the room, but also get like a little food, put it in something to take it back too. Because things were expensive back there.
Well, I'll tell you what's not too expensive, but if you want to make sure your neighbors are hearing it, you got to check out Blue Chew Gold. The future of erectile function is here. Blue Chew Gold is changing the way millions of men are having sex in 2026. Their new arousal boosting formula combines passion and performance into one tablet that dissolves under your tongue for super fast onset. There's no more waiting for a pill to kick in, no more moments ruined by performance anxiety, just the results you want when you want them. Most ED meds only focus on blood flow, but Blue Chew Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're actually in the mood. This type of innovation is why Blue Chew Gold is the #1 brand in erectile function. And the process is simple. It's all online too. Get started today at bluechew.com and go for the gold. Turbocharge your love life and make it easy to get hard. Discover your options right now at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd for free with the promo code Wrestle. That's promo code Wrestle. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring today's podcast. Hey, I don't know if you saw this, but there's a little bit of chatter online today that Mick Foley might be looking at doing something in the wrestling business again. I know you just saw Mick this past weekend in Illinois, and there's rumor and innuendo that AEW has expressed real interest in working with Foley. I guess he's got some sort of a Legends deal that maybe he's winding down with WWE. The rumor and innuendo is that expires at some point during the summer. And I know years ago, he at least flirted with the idea of having one final match, but he said he needed to drop some LBs, and now he's lost more than 100 pounds. You saw him this past weekend. Would you be surprised to see Foley do something in wrestling again?
No, and I think he should. You know, when you're done, you're done. When you're dead, you're dead. You know, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame Jordan for going and playing with the Washington Wizards. You know, I'm one of the guys that you got a finite amount of time in life to do stuff like this. And Foley still has time to do stuff like this. Maybe not wrestle, certainly not wrestle full time. I have no idea what he has planned. Mick's a really smart guy, and Mick could add a lot to somebody's telecast. And if he wants to do it, I think he should. You know, I see Mick out. You know, he still enjoys performing, obviously. You know, he does his comedy show. We were just in, Illinois when he did a comedy show. Everybody's talking about how great it was. Mick still out there doing stuff in wrestling, independent shows where he does certain things, you know, a lot of things. I think Mick still really enjoys performing. Good Lord, who doesn't? I mean, that's what we love doing. That's what we enjoy doing probably more than anything else. And so, yeah, I hope Mick does. And wherever he does, I think Mick's going to be a huge plus for somebody.
Yeah, I, for one, hope that he gets to do exactly what he wants to do. If he's got the itch to do something else, I hope he does. I don't know. I have no inside information, but they are going to be doing Double or Nothing right not too far from his hometown in Queens later this month, but I don't know if he's available for that. We'll see. I just love the idea that there's rumors of, hey, this guy may go there or that guy may go here. It just keeps things fresh. It keeps us guessing. That's what we as fans want, right?
Sure it is. Absolutely. I mean, Conrad, I can tell you, and you know, from being a longtime fan, I'm being a longtime fan as well. There was a time nobody gave a shit what anybody did.
Right.
So the fact that people speculate on it now, I think it's great. I think it's great. There's a million newsletters. It's great. There's a million podcasts. Great. There's social media, all this presence. A lot of it's negative. So what? You know, a lot of people are negative in life, but I think it's great that people are out there speculating.
Hey, speaking of speculating, there is a speculation that Ireland is in play for WrestleMania. Not necessarily suggesting that it's going to happen next year. We know that's in Saudi, and I don't even know necessarily that it's in line for 2028. But the idea that there was at least a conversation. You've wrestled all over the world, including Ireland. What do you think about the prospect of an Irish WrestleMania?
Irish are huge wrestlers, sports fans. Irish are massive freaking sports fans. And we were there. I think we did an outdoor arena there one time. It was me and Cena, I believe, and Kurt Angle. And I believe Stone Cold was the referee. I believe that was one. It was awesome. I tell you, I think that was one where I did a spot. I go up the top rope and I forgot who had who. I think Kurt had Cena or one of the way around. I said, back elbow him and catch me in a power slam off the top. I was going to jump off. I was going to hit him, you know, being held. Well, one of them back held one of them, and both of them fall out of the ring. And so now I'm just standing up there on the top turnbuckle. And it's not like I'm real graceful getting up there. Stone Cold just looked at me, and I think he was the referee. Finley is the agent down at the bottom. He goes, "What are you going to do now?" I go, "I guess I'm going to climb down." I guess that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, Ireland, look, we wrestled at Belfast, wrestled in Dublin. Ireland is just massive, massive sports fans. Look at what they put in the arena for soccer, for rugby, you know, when Leinster's playing or when the Irish national team's playing. I mean, they're huge sports fans. I think it'd be great to be there. The question is, do they have arena big enough, for something, for a big pay-per-view? And if not, the Irish weather, it's 9 months of bad weather followed by winter. So it's not like they got good weather. The weather's freaking terrible. I always thought St. Patrick should have left the snakes and got rid of the people.
Oh my gosh, listen to you. Hey, I do want to ask, there's a report out about business, and I know we love to talk about business. So sometimes we do it on the Have More Money podcast, but this TKO announcement with Arizona, the Arizona Sports and Events Alliance, announced one heck of a deal. Now, Eric Bischoff, when the whole TKO merger first happened, he said, hey, they're going to run a whole lot of joint events. They're going to create a lot of efficiencies, but this may be the biggest one yet. This deal that they landed for TKO is going to bring UFC, WWE, PBR, that's bull riding, and Zuffa boxing events all to Arizona. Of course, on location is their event ticketing service. I'm sure that's going to be involved. Fanatics is going to be involved. But this amount of synergy, where it's not just wrestling, it's not just the UFC, it's not just bull riding, it's boxing too. When you can structure a deal like that for TKO, because it's all under one banner, and you don't have individual entities sort of jockeying for position, like, hey, we need more on this side or more on that side, and everybody's trying to get the biggest deal they can. But when you can combine forces like this, you can not only guarantee a great deal for TKO, but man, it's probably much more attractive to these municipalities, don't you think?
100%. Yeah. And you can negotiate with them with 4 different properties and 4 different properties that people want. I've thought all along the synergies on this thing are just amazing, because you got 4 high octane sports that are fun to watch, from pro wrestling to MMA to bull riding to boxing. I mean, you got so many synergies with arenas, with TV stations, with streaming services, with governments, that you're bringing events to their towns and to their states. I think this is absolutely huge. I've always thought that bull riding, to me, should be one of the biggest sports in the world. I mean, it's so fun to watch, and you can handicap it so easy as far as a gambling. So you figure out, you look at what the bull has done as far as who all he's thrown. You look at the rider, what he has done. Then you got 8 seconds max, and you either win or lose a bet. That's the ultimate rush. I mean, I just thought. But the problem is these cowboys. These cowboys are the most entertaining guys in the world. And when you put a microphone in front of them, it's like you've told them, I want you to be the most boring son bitch on the planet. Because every one of them, like, well, I thought that bull might go left, and it went right. I got thrown. That son bitch gets on a bull for a living. These guys are crazy. I mean, it was not Tough Heat. Another guy from Stephenville rode an elk one time up in a national park up in Wyoming and got fined for it. I'd frame that ticket. These guys are nuts. I mean, I don't know why I think it should be one of the biggest sports in the world, but a much bigger sport because of what it is. And I think what they're doing with these synergies is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that this isn't a great business move for all involved. It's great for the cities. It's great for TKO. It's great for the individual companies. It's a win all the way across the board. And I do think that oftentimes the pundits online, they say things like, hey, corporate wrestling doesn't work. And I get that. For the most part, it has not. But when you see deals like this, man, it's not just a wrestling company. There's all the other stuff. And having these sort of sister companies, I think, is a huge benefit for TKO.
Yeah, it's huge. And look, I was in pro wrestling. I've said this many, many times. Sports entertainment paid a lot better, So I love pro wrestling as much as anybody. But the times change. And for these guys to make so much more money, and you're talking about guys, getting a pay cut from $4 million to $2 million. You're getting $2 million for 5 years, buddy. I was in the roster when nobody on the roster made that. So, look, times are pretty good with these guys, and I understand you can argue with the creative all you want, but that's what fans should do. Fans have the right to do whatever they want. It's one good thing that Vince always believed. We don't tell fans what to do, and nobody else is either, whether they think they are or not. But I think what they're doing is fantastic as far as the money that they're bringing in and the exposure. Look at ESPN. I mean, I don't think anybody would have thought that ESPN would have wrestlers on every single day with long interviews in prime time. The exposure that these guys are getting is just massive right now.
Hey, I do want to ask, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I think this will be fun. you mentioned, hey, getting paid $2 million, getting a cut from 4 to 2. That was a time when I was on the roster and nobody on the roster made that. We all get that. I don't want you to name a name. I don't want you to give us an era. I don't want you to sort of guess how you think they got it. But what do you think the most a wrestler ever made in a single year was from wrestling? Like, I'm not saying like, hey, they did movies. I just mean like their wrestling income, whether he was, licensing deals or just his guaranteed contract or merch or however it cobbled together, but it wasn't an outside source. It was wrestling. What do you think, if you had to guess, and you don't have to say the name, was the top income anybody ever made? 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, more or less?
I think it's closer to 20. I mean, I've heard some of these guys now are making as much as 10 to 15. Some of the top, I've heard that. I have no inside knowledge of that. All I know is what I've read. But I heard Steve made between 15 and 20 is what I heard. I don't know that for sure. I hope he did, because if Steve made it, he saved every penny of it. He's good about that. And he deserves. And I want to thank Steve very much, because I live in a nice house right now because of Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think it would be Steve. I think it'd be Steve or Hogan, especially salary adjusted dollars.
Right.
Now I think Londos also, man, back in the 30s when he was selling out arenas all over the world, literally all over the world. He may have made as much as anybody when you figure inflation adjusted dollars, maybe, as far as ticket sales. Now, you didn't have any outside, sponsorships or anything for him like that. And Steve had so much he made off Austin 316. I would think Hogan or Steve. I would obviously think Roman now, but I would think Hogan or Steve in history. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to really guess what Hogan was making during the original Hulkamania push, because I think we always sort of this is lost on us. And Dave Meltzer's reminded everybody in the last few weeks. But WWE was really making their money domestically back then. So they didn't get a lot of influence from internet. That's not to say that they weren't known, but I just don't think the world and technology had allowed him to scale to where he could monetize it in all the corners of the world. Obviously, that was a little better a decade later when he had the NWO run. And certainly with it being a publicly traded company and wrestling's kind of an afterthought, and they know they need Hulk Hogan, he could have been more like a lost leader there and negotiated a great deal. In the documentary, he says he even gave some money back because it was so lopsided. So those two might be, but I'm with you. Austin's was awfully big, but I don't know how any of it really compares to today. Because and again, I don't know if this is real or not, but someone who knows a thing or two about income in wrestling recently said to me, it's crazy to think that XYZ, I won't say their name, is going to make more between last year and this year than not Hulk Hogan, than Ric Flair did in his entire career.
Wow.
Like when you think about that, like 2 years at the current top guy is more than Flair cumulatively added together. And I was like, that can't be. And then I start doing the math and I'm like, shit, he may be onto something.
Right.
So when people talk about how, the business isn't what it used to be, it's not altogether bad.
It's not altogether bad. I remember the first $100,000 house I'd been in front of was in New Jersey in the Meadowlands. We did $107,000. I thought, man, that's big. I can't believe I'm in front of a house that's $100,000. It was unbelievable. Nowadays, if you did $100,000 house, they'd fire everybody.
Yes,
for having it. I mean, they're doing $1 million houses in small towns. They're doing them. I mean, it's insane, the difference in money. And so when you look at that's the biggest show we had. At least is what I remember. Like the first one I'd had over 100,000, maybe in the first year I'd been there. That was the biggest show we had. WWE doesn't have one that's probably 10x that as their smallest show.
It really is unbelievable to see how much it's grown. And especially when you consider what the pay scale, and again, I don't know any inside baseball. I don't know what it was, but imagine like what a guy like Cody was making not that long ago as Stardust. Yeah. And he says, you know what? I know it's hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but I'm going to leave and I'm going to bet on myself. And then he comes back and now he's well into the 2 comma money. I don't have any inside info, but if he's the top guy and all these big numbers are being bandied around, he's probably in the conversation. That to me feels like a power move, just like how hiring Morgan & Morgan is a power move. Did you know that they've got over 100 offices nationwide? They've got over 1,000 attorneys. They do this because they're America's largest injury law firm. Not just that, They've helped recover more than $30 billion for over 500,000 clients. So that tells you that there's a proven track record that Morgan & Morgan is going to fight to get you full and fair compensation. And don't just take my word for it. Check this success story out. Down in Florida, a family recently received $6.1 million. That's after the insurance company's best offer was only $100,000. Over in Nashville, a client recently received $10.6 million. In Georgia, another client received $29.5 million. If you're injured by the negligence of another, you deserve to be paid. And if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go right now to forthepeople.com/wrestle or dial pound law. That's pound 529 on your cell phone. That's FOR, thepeople.com/wrestle or dial pound law. That's pound 529 on your cell phone. This is a paid advertisement. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about unions. This has become a topic again in the wake of these releases. We touched on the whole 3-hour, 2-hour SmackDown thing. But a friend of ours, Kevin Nash, is never shy about sharing his opinion. And he came out kind of full force saying that, hey, wrestling needs a union. He says you can't have it both ways. You can't play Endeavor at the top with 300% increases and then 1099 the dock workers. If you're going to play by those rules, let the boys play by the same rules. Go through the Screen Actors Guild. They'll be more than happy to take their cut of your money. It won't be 50%, but it'll change the ball game. Take one of the programs that's written down and you tell me that program isn't more heavily written and more produced than Curb Your Enthusiasm when all those actors got SAG paid. Of course, this is all from Kevin Nash's Click This podcast. Now, when this went out, there were two reactions online, John. A lot of guys were saying this is long overdue. Jesse Ventura was right 40 years ago. We need to unionize. And then there were other people who would fold their arms and say, wait a minute, isn't this the guy who once had a favored nations clause that said if anybody else came in, he would make as much as they did? Like, that doesn't feel very unionish. But Kevin Nash has always been a union guy. Yeah. So I do believe that he believes this. I mean, he grew up in the Detroit auto factory like lifestyle. So he knows the power of a union auto worker. I'm split on this. I could see it both ways, I guess, because it does exist in traditional sports, collective bargaining agreements and things like that. Do you think as TKO has gotten more corporate, more structured, that there is a possibility of this, or will it ever happen in WWE?
I think there's a possibility. And to defend Kevin, he played within the rules of the system.
Absolutely.
The favored nation clause was in the rules of the system. What Kevin is arguing is change the rules. And he's a smart guy. He's going to play within the rules of the system. If you change the rules, he played within the rules of that system. So I don't think that contradicts what Kevin believes. What it tells you is that he's a very smart guy. Got a favored nation clause. We all wish we had that. They tried to unionize several times. I was there back, right at the Montreal Screw job when several people were talking about it, and I was dead set against it. And the reason was I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life, and at the time, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I know that the higher ups don't want this. I'm not going to cross them because I'm making so much freaking money compared to what I had made elsewhere. And Vince was always a great payoff guy, a terrific payoff guy. So I never had a desire to say I was mistreated, because I wasn't mistreated. I was treated wonderfully. I was treated wonderfully, by the way. I mean, I tore my bicep one time and I already made my downside guarantee. And I think it was JR I was talking to. I think it was. And he goes, look, we've already paid you your downside, which means they didn't have to pay me a dime the rest of the year because I'd already made my downside. And he goes, we're going to forget we paid your downside already. And they sent me a check every single week for 6 months when I was not wrestling. And they didn't have to do that. They paid for all my surgeries. I mean, maybe people could say I was an exception. I don't think I was, but I got treated incredibly well. Now that was under a different regime. And now that your question now is about TKO. I think there's a chance it could be. Everything's becoming so corporate. Unions are ideological. I'm more of a free market type person that's not in favor of unions. I think there are times that unions are very beneficial to people when people have been mistreated. I don't think we have as much in society now, but a person that wants a unions would argue against me on that point because ideologically we disagree about free markets and how things should be. I have no problem with unions. I was part of the SAG union until they tried to take some of my video game money. I told them where they could go and dropped out of the SAG union because they certainly had no right to that. And I dropped out, but I kind of wish now I was because you have access to different stuff, so it's very self-serving. But I have no problem with unions. Basically, I kind of lean against it and back in the day it was a different regime, and we were paid so well that I was against it because I thought a union we're not going to get any better from a union. Right now, the way we're treated is treated way above and beyond what our contract calls for. And different regime now, I think there's possibility that it could happen because everything's getting more and more corporate.
It's going to be interesting to see how it changes. I know that TKO obviously has great ties with the current administration here in the United States. And as there's an administrative change, I wonder if they'll fall out of favor or come under more scrutiny, or we'll see. But I do think it's interesting that it's all become such a hot button in wrestling now. And I know some of this from Kevin comes from his belief that he thinks that under TKO, his royalty checks have gotten smaller. Well, he doesn't think that. They have. But I wonder, hey, is that because TKO is screwing somebody, or is that because they have a different way of doing merch now? For years and years, WWE produced and shipped and handled all the logistics of all that on their own. I think now they've got almost like a rights fee, and now Fanatics handles it all. So it's more of a third-party deal, and they're probably getting more of a guarantee. Not unlike when Vince decided, hey, I want to stop selling individual pay-per-views. And now Nick Khan is saying, hey, let's just get guaranteed and let's move it all over to ESPN. So it feels like the structure has changed, and maybe that's trickled down. But to Kevin's point, it's not like they would have done that to make less money. So let me ask you, have you noticed the difference? Do you feel like your royalties are different than they were before?
Yeah, like I've got, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Would be the best way to say it. I've got some stuff I'm talking to right now about different things, so I don't want to, bring up too much. I haven't.
It is different because you're doing commentary. I don't know that everybody knows this, but you're doing commentary for AAA, and they've got a fabulous, maybe the most hyped AAA event in a long, long time. It's happening at the end of the month on May 30th. It's mask versus mask. And everybody who's paid attention to El Grande Americano is looking forward to this. So you're right now, even though people may not put this together, you're actively working for AAA, which is of course owned by WWE. So you're in the tent. So someone like Kevin, who may be on strictly a Legends deal, and I don't pretend to know what his deal is, that dynamic is different, is what I'm saying. The way he's positioned.
Right and I'm not trying to avoid the question. I'm not sure to answer your question. And so, and being, whether I'm, part of AAA or part of TKO overall, I'm really kind of just segregated with AAA. But I don't know. I don't know as far as the merch about how that would be handled, whether you're in the tent or you're out the tent, and I'm not exactly sure. I'm not making a ton of merch, so I wish I was to notice the difference. But I'm not making a ton of merch money, so maybe I should. Then I can notice the difference.
You were probably from the school though where heels didn't sell merch, right?
I didn't have anything. They put one shirt out, and I saw it. I said, called Vince. I said, "You trying to kill me?" And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "You've got a JBL shirt out there. I cannot afford to have some kid in the front row wearing a JBL shirt because you're going to think I have a fan, and somebody's going to think somebody likes me, and I can't afford that." And Vince said, "I had no idea it got put out." And so Vince pulled it off the shelf. So no, I never had any merch.
Can you imagine a scenario where heels didn't have merch in 2026? Everybody's got to have merch.
Yeah. Can you imagine where one of them had heat?
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Actually, a few do. Gunther does. But,
oh yeah. Well, you're being funny. Come on. It's a joke. But I do think it's interesting as we're talking about it, the whole idea of, back then heels didn't sell merch. Think about it divorce yourself from wrestling for a minute. Imagine if there was no Darth Vader merch. Because you're like, well, heels don't sell merch. It's like, well, in real business they do. So I get why it's changed. We're trying to drive shareholder value.
The difference is you don't hurt Darth Vader's heat by somebody buying merch.
That's right.
You could hurt my heat by somebody buying merch. I mean, I've always thought if I had some people in the front row and you're seeing them on television, that people would think, okay, JBL has some fans. And I don't know if, subliminally you think maybe he's not such a bad guy, but basically you'd think somebody's a fan of mine. I didn't want anybody to think I had any fans whatsoever. And when I'd go to the arena and I'd see somebody in a suit and a cowboy hat, dressing like me, I would give them a microphone. I would just blast the shit out of them to get them to boo me, because I wanted to turn everybody in their arena there. So I don't think it's absolutely fair comparison to say Darth Vader to the heel, because Darth Vader doesn't have to compete or be in front of live crowds where you have to get live heat. So to me, it's different.
I'm not arguing that it's different. I'm just saying the people who are making decisions now are usually making those decisions from a P&L.
Sure.
And they're and there's no heat column on there. So it's just like, how much Vader shit can we sell? You know what I mean?
Right. And back in the day, the idea was, I don't know if this actually happened or not, the paychecks were very generous, was that we would get part of the Babyface's merch for selling it. So that was always the idea, was that, if you're wrestling Cena or you're wrestling Ray or Undertaker, was that during that run, you would get some portion of either the merch or some portion of the pay-per-view revenue based on the fact that you didn't have merch.
Well, I love what we're talking about, the financial piece. That's always interesting to me. And it's also interesting what's happening with collectibles. I don't know if you saw this, but earlier this week, something really crazy happened. A card that had a patch from Randy Orton's WrestleMania match last year was sold, and it sold on eBay, and the person paid immediately. So let me break this down for you. A few years ago, WWE did a deal with Fanatics. I think most everybody listening to this knows that you can go buy all of your baseball or football or basketball or your college teams, whatever you're a fan of, they probably sell it at Fanatics, and they've got one of everything from an ashtray to a hoodie to art on the wall or whatever. They've got something for your fandom, no matter what you're into. Well, they started to acquire trading card companies like Topps. So now they own Topps, and that's a classic company, been around my whole life. And so they decided, hey, let's make WWE a big part of that. So one of the things they did last year, John, is they had these small, tiny patches they gave every performer, and the performers wore it out on anytime they had a debut, but they certainly wore it last year at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. So not 2026, but 2025. And some of the talent didn't get the memo maybe, and had to figure out, how am I going to affix this to my existing gear? One of those talent in particular is probably Randy Orton. He wears tiny trunks. Where's this thing going to go? He put it behind his laces on his left boot. So if you didn't know what you were looking for, you might not even see it. But if you have an eagle eye and you go back and you take a look at WrestleMania in Las Vegas last year, you'll see that patch behind the laces on his left boot. The reason I bring this up, John, is somebody pulled that out of a pack, listed it on eBay, and earlier this week it sold immediately for $42,000, and the guy paid right away.
What?
This is a card that was used, that was created last year, signed last year, pulled from a pack this year, and was worn in one match. This patch was worn in one match last year at WrestleMania. And I think that's where he RKO'd Joe Hendry, not being negative, but I'm saying it wasn't the main event of WrestleMania. So one of the guys who was really knee deep in the bidding here, John, was the New York Knicks star, Karl Anthony Towns. And he got sniped at the last minute, and he missed the opportunity. So he put a $60,000 bounty out saying, I want the John Cena one. If you pull the John Cena patch card, I will give you $60,000. Well, it's created pandemonium today, John. We've also seen people come out and say, well, I've got $100,000 bounty. And now as we're recording, there's $165,000 bounty.
No,
on one card for one patch that John Cena wore in what will wind up being his last WrestleMania. It was the main event. As a reminder, it was the stinker that was ruined by Travis Scott, but still that patch has a $165,000 bounty, John.
that's crazy.
Unbelievable.
And also Karl Anthony Towns. I've been betting on him on assists like the last 4 games. He's been going over his total. I keep raising it every time. So that's awesome. That's crazy. What? I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I can get, you bought like one of the ECW signs or something like that. I can see that. You put that up in your man cave, or I can see boots, or I can see like the Gorgeous George robe and all that stuff. You put it up on a mannequin somewhere. I don't get the patch, but I mean, to each his own. Thank God that people do care. But, I collect coins. So don't, people that have that patch go, why would that guy collect an old penny? So I can understand, to each his own. But my God, that is unbelievable.
Dave Silva's with us here live, of course, third man of our trios team. He wants to know, what's a JBL autographed monster can worth?
That's a good question. That is a really good question.
We can find out.
That's right. And to our guy the other day, you could get a monster sponsorship here for us. And by the way, and sell the cans. That's right. I'm gonna sell them to Dave Silva because he's been. I don't want to say this out publicly, so if you're out there listening, don't tell anybody. But he's been stalking me. He's got pictures of my front door. I don't want to tell anybody.
I heard he even caught you in bed with a fat guy last week.
He did. Yeah, and he had pictures. Yes, he did. Yeah. Oh yeah. He's not a good guy.
Well, there's no arguing that. Hey, I gotta say, I think this is a great thing for wrestling. We've seen a lot of 6-figure card sales. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but we've seen some big money card sales for like Hulk Hogan rookie cards that are in gym mint condition. It's PSA graded 10 and all this. But the idea that this is from an event that happened last year, and it's a patch from something that was worn in exactly one match.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. $165,000. It's not crazy for baseball cards to sell for that, or basketball or football or whatever.
Yeah.
But now wrestling's in on the action, and I'd like to think that we've had a little bit of help with that. Thanks to our friends over at Heritage Auctions. We've had Tony on several weeks, and he actually convinced me to list some things. So I wanted to remind everybody, the auction is live right now. You can go pick up the ECW entrance letters. And these were used in 97, 98, 99. This hung over the entrance. So when your favorite wrestler would come through the curtain, this was hung in the trussing right above them. Now, the barbed wire has been removed, but this is a one of one for a lot of those old ECW faithful. I want you to know we've got a link in the description for today's show where you can go right now to ha.com. That's for Heritage Auctions. That's ha.com. And I have this up right now, John, with no reserve. And the bidding will end on Saturday night. So I think it's around $2,500 right now, but it's a real part of wrestling history and it can be yours. Just head on over to ha.com. Not only that, we've also got one of the 2 original ECW arena signs. Now this hung on the corner of the building there at the corner of Swanson and Rittner, and it's live, available right now. The reserve has been met at ha.com. Now you'll see a lot of different signatures there. That's because Hardcore Homecoming that happened in 2005, immediately after the event, they had like an auction. And as part of that auction, you got to go home with one of the signs, and a bunch of the talent that were on that Hardcore Homecoming event, they autographed it. So you've got a bunch of the different roster members autographed here. And obviously it's safe to display anywhere. Hell, it hung on the outside of the ECW arena. Probably one of the most famous buildings in the history of wrestling. And this sign is available now at ha.com. And maybe we save the best for last. It's got everybody talking online, especially in the belt groups. I'm auctioning off my United States title from WCW. This is the actual belt that was used from 1991 to 1995. This is the belt maybe most synonymous with Rick Rude. He held it more than anybody else. But even a young, stunning Steve Austin, he held this title. So did Jim Duggan. So did Vader. But maybe my favorite, not Dustin Rhodes, no disrespect to him, not Ricky Steamboat, who retired with it, not Lex Luger, who I absolutely loved as a kid. To me, this was Sting's belt. He was on the cover of the WCW magazine, and I just remember seeing that magazine at the grocery store with my mom. That's where I would see the magazines on the newsstands, and I got so excited seeing Sting holding the globe on his fingertip and that belt over his shoulder. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I've owned it since 2018. And here it is, made by Reggie Parks way back when. A who's who of professional wrestling held it, a real part of wrestling history. And it's available now. It's going to end this weekend. So go get registered if you're interested in owning a piece of wrestling history. ha.com. Heritage Auctions is where you want to be. That's ha.com. This is going to be fun. I didn't know what to expect. If you'll recall, John, the guess that Tony gave me on the belt, I think he said it was like 150 or 200. As we're talking right now, it's at 75,000, and we've still got a few days left to go. So I think it's going to cross 6 figures, which I wouldn't have guessed. So it does show you that, hey, pro wrestling collectibles are climbing in value, John.
What are the signs right now?
I think the entrance letters last I saw, those were 2,500, and the ECW arena sign is 10 grand. And I think both of those are
Holy shit.
a heck of a value. Like 10 grand for the ECW arena sign feels like a deal to me.
Oh my God. 2,500 for the other. That's great.
Yeah.
That's something to me that is so cool. You put that up in your man cave or put that up in your backyard, like near your barbecue place or whatever you have, or something. I mean, that's some really cool, or in your garage. I mean, that's some really cool shit, man. I love that stuff. I think it's great. The belt is awesome. Don't get me wrong. That's the prize piece. But those signs are really freaking cool. To have that put up somewhere, where you have friends or family come over, or just you hang out yourself, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did have once upon a time I owned both of the ECW arena signs, and I had one in a man cave by a pool table downstairs in the basement. But the other, it's funny you say this, I had it at the end of a garage bay. So every day when I was pulling into the garage, there's the ECW arena sign. So
have you ever drug tested the sign just to see if make sure it failed?
That's actually a great question. I have not. Sonny's autograph is on there, so there's something there for sure. You know what? That now feels like a good time for us to ask. Did you grow up in the 80s or 90s? Do you and your friends still talking movie quotes like it's your own secret language? Then you need to grab a drink and get ready to rewind. I'm talking about the hilarious podcast, Be Kind, Let's Rewind, your weekly nostalgia fix for all things TV, movies, music, and video games from the greatest decades ever. Every Friday, the boys crack open a few cold ones and deep dive into the pop culture moments that made us who we are, with big laughs and bold opinions and the occasional, did that really happen? Each week, they'll hit you with segments like Booze of the Week, Boring Ass Facts, Shit Stuck in My Head, and the very popular Norm Macdonald clip of the week, because no one told a joke quite like Norm did. From Back to the Future to the 40-Year-Old Virgin to Tommy Boy to South Park to The Simpsons, Be Kind, Let's Rewind is your time machine. Back to simpler days. Be sure to subscribe to their YouTube page. It's at Be Kind, Let's Rewind, and you can engage with the show on their Instagram, their Facebook, their X, and TikTok. If you love 80s and 90s nostalgia, this show is for you. Check it out. Be Kind, Let's Rewind. By the way, this ad was paid for by JBL. Hey, so listen, we've had a fun time talking about some real happy stuff today, but I do want to hit you with some sad news. We found out that Barry Blaustein passed away. Now, if that name doesn't immediately jog your memory, let me help you. He's the guy behind the fabulous documentary Beyond the Mat. You want to talk about a movie and a documentary and a piece of business that was so far ahead of its time. And I know that once upon a time, WWE was on board with this, and then they got cold feet and they didn't really want to promote it. And I understand it, but to really see how the sausage was made at a critical time, I got to tell you, as a young fan, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. It felt like we were peeling back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz, and we got to see some stuff that is still a regular part of our conversations. What do you remember about the filming of Beyond the Mat, and when did you see it, and what did you think?
I remember WWE turning on it. I remember WWE being for it and then turning on it and, thinking it was an expose or whatever the reason it was. I thought it was neat. I thought it was neat that you'd done some stuff that people didn't get to see. It was, again, we didn't have a ton of stuff back then. And so for people to have stuff that comes out, whether it's 100% positive or some percentage of positive, it was something that nobody had done for us. So we all enjoyed it. I remember watching it and thinking it was cool, but I just remember also thinking that somebody cared enough to make this product, and that's good for our business.
It's fantastic. I hope everybody goes out of their way to check it out. Every now and again, you'll see like an art house theater do a screening of it. You can still buy a DVD of it online with special director's commentary and director's cuts. And I just think it's one of the more timeless documentaries in the history of wrestling. And I hope, and I challenge you, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, go out of your way to see it. Shout out to Mr. Blaustein too. Just a terrific guy. Bruce and I met him. Of course, Bruce knew him, but we met him at an early Something to Wrestle that was live in Los Angeles, and he couldn't wait to come. And man, he was tremendous. We've heard through the grapevine that he's been battling Parkinson's since. And I think recently was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And now he's gone at just 72 years old, but what a contribution. Beyond the Mat, man, one of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind. And it's funny, when you're younger, 72 seems like it's real old. When you get older, it's like, man, he died young. So,
Yeah.
and he did, but yeah, these guys are so creative, and he's an incredibly creative guy. I remember when it first came out and thinking how neat it was that somebody had done this on our business. I remember WWE turning on it, but they did that with almost everything. They'd be for something, and something would get in the chairman's crawl a little bit wrong, and he'd turn on it, and maybe the reason he was so successful, he's very guarded.
Well, let's end on a high note. We found out through the grapevine that Big Papa Pump, he's got a son who's now in the NFL. Somehow, some way, Brock Rechsteiner, that's Scott Steiner's son, has made the 90-man roster for the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is Braun Breaker's cousin. Of course, we know Braun in real life was a fullback and actually signed on to play ball with the Ravens. Brock Rechsteiner actually played college ball here in Alabama, Jacksonville State, not too far from Cassio Kidd's hometown of Gadsden, Alabama. But now he's headed to New Orleans as a member of the New Orleans Saints. And in an interview that come out in the last week or so, he said, "Hey, I've been talking to my cousin. We go fishing all the time, and he's convinced me after football to try wrestling." So now we have a confirmation that Brock Rechsteiner is actually going to try to be in pro wrestling. Now, of course, his cousin's real name is Bronson, but the idea that you've got Bronson and Brock, the Steiner cousins, this is like the most exciting idea I remember. The Steiner brothers were my absolute favorite as a kid.
Oh, Steiner brothers were absolutely. I've said it so many times. Everything bring up, they were just different level. I mean, absolute different level. They were the best tag team in the world, and it wasn't even close when they were going at it. They were so freaking good. I guess how long has it been since we've had a guy that's played pro football and pro wrestle at the same time? I guess maybe Bronco Nagurski back in the 30s. Did he do both at the same time? I mean, I don't know if we had any. We had some guys who make guest appearances. They all make so much freaking money now. It's you choose one or the other. But what a thing that could be if he decides during the off season to do a little wrestling with his cousin. I mean, that could be pretty cool.
It will be super cool. Also cool. I want to give a little shout out to, I can't believe this is real. Garrett Borden is making his in-ring debut for Rhodes Wrestling. So this is Dustin Rhodes' school where he runs shows. It's called Final Reckoning, and it's happening on May 17th at the Bullpen. I'm probably going to mispronounce the town. Does it sound right here, John? Leander, Texas?
It does. Yes, it does.
So Leander, Texas is going to get the debut of the second son of Sting. Of course, we know that he's already got one kid trying to cut his teeth and working some dark matches with Ring of Honor and AEW. And now another, like little stingers getting in the ring. I don't know why I love this, but I just do. I love that wrestling is such a family thing, John.
Yeah, I do too. And you look at what's going on. I say, you mentioned I do a lot with AAA, do the commentary down there, and I really enjoy it, by the way. And down there, you have, every single wrestler. There's a good chance I wrestled their dad, because every one of them is second and third generation. It's awesome. It's a family business, and we don't have that as much here in the United States. We do have a lot of it, and most of the second generation guys have been successful. But it's great to see. It's great to see Stinger's kids. I never got to work with Sting much. Certainly, I never got to work with him in the ring. But I got to do commentary for him when he made his debut. When Vince fed me the line that people love to bring up, when he fed it to me, I thought that's the dumbest thing I've ever said. And I realize now how good it was. Sometimes he feeds you stuff and you don't realize at the time it's pretty good. When he's had a picture, had Sting back there, Sting wasn't moving. And they said, "That's Sting." I said, "That's not Sting. That's a picture of Sting." And I remember saying it. Vince fed me that line verbatim. And I said it. And I thought, man, I don't think I like that line at all. It sounds dumb. People have brought that up over the years.
It's amazing.
About how great that line was. And that was 100% kudos to the chairman out there. Because at the time, I didn't think it was that great. And I realize now it's a pretty freaking good line. But I got to call a lot of Sting's matches, but never got to be in the ring with him.
I don't think the world knows that was Vince's line. So that's pretty cool that you have revealed that and disclosed that here today.
Oh, when he told it to me, Conrad, it was kind of like, geez, when somebody says something to you, even if it makes sense, if you're going down a different line of thought, you think it doesn't make sense at all because you're going down this line here and it doesn't fit your line of thought that you're going on. It's such a non sequitur. And so Vince fed me that line verbatim. That's not Sting. That's a picture of Sting. And Vince was so good then I would be one or two words right behind him. You know, I had a different relationship. You know, a lot of guys talk about how Vince yelled at, you know, all that stuff. We've talked about that. Never happened to me. He was always great to work with, but I was one word, I was a lot of time behind him. And that was 100% Vince's line that he said, "That's not Sting. That's a picture of Sting."
That's so great. John, since we've been recording this morning, it's come out that Clarence Carter has passed away at 90 years old. Did you ever see Clarence Carter in concert?
Nope, never did.
It feels like some of the boys back in the day would have loved that song "Stroking." It feels like that would have been.
Oh my God, would they have? Yes. 90 years old. That's great.
Yeah. You know what's funny? He just played a concert here in Huntsville maybe 4 years ago. And I went, Megan and I went, and she was like, "Now who are we going to see?" And I let her listen to it on the way over. By the way, I know it's considered a joke song, and I'm not going to argue that. Patches is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it's an absolutely amazing song, but I wish now I would have known. I would have had Silva tee up as like the instrumental version of "Stroking" as a music bed underneath our Blue Chew ad this week. We should do that.
What a great song. Hey, we just interviewed Lou Graham, you know, the front man for the lead voice for a Foreigner on Stories of Briscoe and Bradshaw. Oh, it's going to come out probably Monday or so. But, you know, I think he's 75. I think he told me, you know, one of the greatest voices in rock and roll history. You know, Jethro Tull called him the greatest voice in rock and roll history. He had some newspapers say he was a Pavarotti of rock. You know, it's just so cool to see these guys rock. You know, age is not a barrier to these guys. You know, I don't know what happened in the 70s and 80s that you had these great rockers and they still rocking to this day, but I think it's freaking great.
No doubt about it. Go check it out. Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw, anywhere you enjoy podcasts. And now, without further ado, let's reveal a little bit of what we did last week in the suburbs of St. Louis. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Curtain Jerkers.
People like to talk to me about a lot about the Brawl for All here. I'm at WrestleMania, I'm at WrestleCon, and I want to clear this up once and for all. You see, I had a very high fever, 98.7. I was in the hospital bed. I went and I fought because fans love me, and that's why I lost to Bart Gunn. I also had a dislocated small toe that had a big effect on it. But the main thing is, if I could have got to WrestleMania and I could have got hold of Butterbean, now he's a great four-rounder. He fought Larry Holmes, but I had the height on him. I'm a lot better looking than Butterbean, and from what I understand, boxing is rigged. And I would have.
Now what?
I'm just saying what a great fight you had with Bart Gunn, and I was so happy that I did not have to face you because you're.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad that you didn't win against Bart because I didn't want to fight you. So it would have been. I didn't. I mean, it would have been a lot tougher fight because you'd have come out swinging. Bart tried to box. Bad mistake.
He did. Bart just hit us. He came out and tried to box.
But boxing's not rigged unless you're Jake Paul.
Oh, I got it. I didn't know that. See? Straight out of Butterbean.
You learn everything every day.
The king of the four-rounder.
What does curtain jerkers mean to you?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what you're actually talking about. What are you talking about? Curtain jerk, what the fuck?
Yeah, not in that context. Yeah, in England that could be taken the wrong way as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Curtain jerk sounds bad to me, man.
It could be someone who's so excited by the product they like to play with their gentleman's.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. I'm like, what are you chatting about? Like, but this is for JBL. This is for JBL. Yeah, I've had beef with him all weekend. To be fair, I love him. I love that man. Never forget this JBL because I'm never going to forget you or Ron. You've been amazing.
What's your favorite JBL moment?
Oh, okay. Eddie Guerrero. When he fought Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero, definitely.
When he fought Eddie Guerrero is probably his. Yeah. Actually, no. Do you know what? No, I'll take that back. East W One Night Stand.
When he was giving it to everybody.
When he was giving it to everyone.
Yes.
He set a whole new benchmark for git.
He did.
In England, we call it a bastard, but git. Brilliant.
He was proper arsehole that night, and that's why I love that dude. He don't give a shit.
The abuse he gave was excellent.
It was.
It was good.
If you had to take a finishing move from your grandmother, what would the finishing move that you don't want to take?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, actually. That's a good. What would you?
The stink face.
Oh, the stink face.
Yeah,
the
you don't want a fucking stink face.
Yeah, I'm with that dude on the stink face, 100%. Yeah, don't want that shit.
Either that or a trunk box.
Yeah.
You know,
He's struggling with this question, this one. And
I've been in a sharpshooter when I was a kid. That hurt because they did it properly. Yeah, probably the sting face of the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Do you want to take the Bronco Buster?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
See, that's brutal as well.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't.
No,
But-
good point. Yeah, Bronco Buster, no.
If there was one wrestler who you didn't want to babysit your child, who would it be?
Bradshaw, all day long.
Oh, probably Duke Droce, you know, the garbage man. Remember the old garbage man?
Or the boogeyman, you don't want him looking
Or the
after your
boogeyman,
kids.
yeah.
You don't want the boogeyman
the
looking after your
dumpster
kids. You'd
droser.
absolutely shit yourself.
Yeah, or the boogeyman.
Duke the Dumpster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Duke
the
the
dumpster, boogeyman.
I always thought his hard drive needed checking, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
Curtain Jerkers Live, John.
I'm so excited.
We're doing
You know why I'm excited?
Why?
Because we talk about the greatest tag teams of all time.
Yeah.
Ricky and Robert, the greatest tag team of all time. We got the world best Robert Gibson right here.
What's up,
and
guys?
we got Ricky Morton here.
Hey, Ricky Morton.
I'm not Ricky Morton.
What do you mean?
Hey, Ricky, don't be modest. You guys were a great tag team. Tell us about working for Mr. Crockett back in the 80s. How hot were you guys? You guys were the hottest tag team in the whole damn world. How was it like to be the greatest tag team in the 80s ever?
I was very young then, so my memory isn't so great. Yeah.
When did you first meet Robert, and was there good chemistry when you guys first got together?
Yeah, I met him at breakfast one day at a fan fest, and we were
guys
eating
had Fan
muffins.
Fest back in the 70s?
Is this how you remember it, Robert?
Not really. I think, it's close.
How do you remember meeting Ricky for the first time?
Man, he was laid on his back looking at the stars, and he was hanging off the rafters.
They're hanging from the rafters.
They were hanging from the
Hanging
rafters.
from the rafters.
What do you remember about your first time meeting this guy?
Man, I thought I was wrestling a damn bulldozer.
A bulldozer. Where was it? Do you remember?
In the Carolinas.
Carolinas.
Yeah, locked up with him and turned around. Hot damn. What's wrong? I said, I gotta loosen up a little bit. No, that same night that him and Ricky did the old punch thing.
Yeah.
Tackle.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. We had some good matches with him. We just had,
Ricky told me, he said, shoot me in the corner. So I shot him in the corner, and then I came in, he punched me right in the mouth. I didn't know right before that he had told Robert, pull this big sumbitch off of me.
Yeah. Sure did.
And so he punched me in the mouth. Because I had knocked him out of the ring with a tackle. Yeah, I was young and didn't know any better. And when he hit me, I looked at him, I said, what'd you do that for? And he said, because I'm the dumbest sumbitch alive, and he tagged Robert.
He said, Robert, please pull this big sumbitch off of me.
What would you say is your favorite JBL match?
Shit, we didn't have many, but a few.
Not many good ones, or just not many?
No, it's
his last one. Is that your favorite one? The one that he retired after?
No, it was that's a good match.
Yeah. What's your favorite?
He taught me a lot.
Ricky.
I think I got hit in the head with a chair too many times.
Hey, Ricky, what was it like having all those young girls that all over you, all wanting a rock and roll express? What was that like?
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. Same for you. Same question for you.
Yeah, it's got to put you in the grave on it.
In the grave. Well, there you go. I can't believe you keep telling me none of these guys are your friends, but they're friendly to you when we cut on the mic.
Yeah, of course they are. Ricky and I have known each other a long time, and Robert and I have known each other a long time.
It's good dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of solid dudes right here.
Hey, I tell you this. Ricky was a freaking ladies' man back in the 80s.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Guys, we're here at SICW Fan Fest here at the greatest table, the John Layfield table. Lines all the way out the door. Everybody's ready to meet their hero. We're very excited to be here. It's a wonderful evening. Let's go meet some people. Hey, are you excited to see your hero?
Oh, I am. I've been seeing them all. They're great. I'm so excited.
Are you, so you're in line to see JBL right now, correct?
Yeah, JBL and Mick Foley, for sure.
Oh, you're in line for Foley?
This is Foley's line.
Oh, this is Foley's line, not JBL. Okay, that checks out. Oh, there's nobody here. The one that nobody's here at? Oh, interesting. Okay. We can fix that in post.
Here we are back at the SICW Wrestling Fan Fest. It's another table talk, JBL.
It's another table talk. We got the great, the legendary, the man himself, Ernest the Cat Miller. Somebody better call his mama. But what's worse is we got to talk to him about my dear friend Ron Simmons. Because something happened at Florida State years ago that I got to let Cat tell it.
Listen, I love Ron, you know. But back in the day, Ron was a top-notch football player. But so was I. I was just a few years behind him. I was a 5-star linebacker coming out of high school, being recruited by Florida State.
Okay.
They brought me in, showed me off. But guess what? They put a man over me in charge of me, and that was Ron Simmons.
Oh!
The great Ron Simmons was supposed to take care of all the young guys.
Be your mentor.
Man, listen, this dude was the meanest you-know-what I've ever seen, man. He's the reason, I'm going to tell you guys, he's the reason I didn't go to Florida State.
Really?
Man, Ron was so... Listen,
Did he take you out? Did he take you out? Well, he gave him money to take you out,
They
right?
gave him, I saw that, they gave him money and said, take these guys out, take them to watch a movie. So he said, pick the movie you guys want. We picked a 2-hour movie.
Okay.
We got there, he gave us 45 minutes to watch a 2-hour movie. And he said, if we ain't back, we walking home.
What? Why? He just didn't want to be out that late.
He did not want the job, he wanted the money. But I love Ron Simmons. I was glad to meet him, man. Glad to meet both of you guys, have both of you guys in my life, man.
You know what's great about it? It's every time you're around Ron, you bring up the same story
I'm
about
going
the
to tell
money.
that story my whole life, man.
It's the best.
And it was so funny. We had all these young guys looking up to Ron, because Ron was huge. He was big, man, strong and mean looking. We would say anything behind his back. We wouldn't say nothing to his face.
Yeah.
When he left us, we just laughed and said, we should all jump him. Then I said,
We
no,
should
it
all
won't,
jump him.
It won't work.
Would you still want?
It won't work. He said it won't work. We should all jump. He gave you 45 minutes to watch a 2-hour movie?
Listen, I said, bro, the movie, it's a 2-hour movie. And he said, what? He said, you guys better have you know what here in 45 minutes. I got to go to bed. I got to eat my protein.
I got to eat my protein. Where did you end up going?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I left to Florida State, went down to Savannah State. I went to a smaller school because I wanted to be the big dog.
There we go.
He wanted to be the one that gave kids 45 minutes to watch a 2-hour movie.
He wanted the money for the movie.
Yeah,
Now, did you see Ron's Corvette or his Trans Am?
He had a Trans Am too, man. He was like, I mean, this dude had everything. He had his own room. He had his own condo. He had the best car on the campus. But you know what? It was worth it, man. This guy right here was incredible, man.
He was a 3-time All-American.
Man, listen.
Runner-up the Heisman Trophy.
Man, a defensive guy, too.
That's right, nose tackle. That's
right.
right.
Yes.
How much? Can you imagine how much NIL money he would get these days?
Oh, my God.
Incredible.
Can you imagine if NIL was around now?
Incredible.
He'll tell you guys now, that he wasn't supposed to do that.
Sure, yeah.
He wasn't supposed to make money that way. When you're in college, you don't make money. But he'll tell us now, that's how he made his little money, taking out all the 4- and the 5-star recruits.
Taking them to the movies and not letting them finish.
You better watch it quick. You got 45 minutes to watch a 2-hour movie. You better know how to speed watch.
And you guys don't eat in my car. I mean, he was mean, man.
A curtain jerker is somebody who jerks off backstage and then wipes his juices and refuse on the curtain.
If you could force 2 wrestlers to live together on a reality show, who would cause the most chaos, and what would the title of the show be?
Listen, the greatest piece of television WWE ever made was a show called Legends House. And it went from a little ball busting to Pat Patterson being like, hey, I'm coming out of the closet. Everybody cried and hugged each other. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen. So I want to see something like that. Maybe we squash a beef between two guys. Bret Hart, Bill Goldberg, get in that house. We're locking the door. You're going to bathe together. You're going to make meals together. And DDP's going to make your asses do yoga.
What's your favorite JBL moment?
Oh, man, there's so many, dude. I miss his old drunk tweeting, his Twitter storms from back in the day. Calling out Cody Rhodes. Now he's QB1. No, I love that JBL just showed up on the indies and clotheslined everybody. That was super cool. And obviously, when he's out in the woods or out in the desert, like hunting for illegals at the border or something, he did something like that. It was hilarious. It was horrible. JBL had a great run. And from the smoking guns to APA to JBL with that big cowboy hat, he's given us a lot of good memories.
It wasn't the smoking guns, it was the new blackjacks.
New blackjacks, oh my gosh. I used to have those Jax toys. The Jax figurines of the blackjacks. I love those. I didn't know who was who when I got the toy. It's two guys in mustaches. JBL. You think you're the only 3-letter guy in the business? There's MJF. But there's PWH. So you bring that clothesline and that duster coat, I'm going to give you everything I got, homie.
Guys, we are here at FanFest, and this is one of the more unique items I've seen to get a signature on. This is the official JBL Chia Pet, is it?
Yeah, Godzilla, he beat him in his hometown after all.
That's right, and I see John's already signed it, so the price of it has gone down.
Yeah, that's about right. Well, I mean, Big Show showed up and ruined the whole thing, so.
Where'd you get this?
Found it at Walmart.
Like, what year?
6 months ago.
Walmart's still doing Chia Pet? Godzilla, hey. Come on, you don't stay the number one super. That's right, you don't stay the number one superstore for nothing. What's your name, brother?
My name is Jamie.
Who are you most excited to see here?
Certainly JBL, but it's nice seeing all the ruthless aggression dudes like Carlito, Teddy Long, and them.
Of course. Oh, you genuinely are excited to see JBL?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just being nice for the camera. That's amazing.
You owe me and Ron Simmons money, like millions of dollars for trans, for gas. You never paid for nothing.
Well, when I tried to pay you guys, you had changed addresses. I tried to send you the money. It didn't go to that address. It came back to me. So when the money came back to me, I just put it back in the bank. I don't know how to find y'all.
Now, you're the general manager here in this place, right?
I'm the acting general manager here tonight for SICW.
And you booked me in a match.
Yeah. That's the only way I'm going to get my money out of you. You owe me. You won't refuse to pay me. Money I've loaned you over the years. Remember, I had to get your dry cleaning out. One time you didn't have no wrestling tights to wrestle in. I had to go buy your tights. So that's the only way I can get my money is to book you here tonight.
Me and Ron almost had to check into a secondhand smoke clinic because of you and Godfather.
Well, I don't think you should do that.
We almost had to check into a Betty Ford secondhand smoke clinic because of you and Godfather.
Well, what you should have did is joined us. You shouldn't have checked into no clinic or nothing.
If I'd have joined you, I'd weigh 400 pounds.
Well, no, you wouldn't. I'd have helped you out.
I bet you would have. You remember the time we're like Bakersfield or something, and you had the town wrong?
Yeah.
And you said, I will not let you insult these people in Fresno. Yeah. And everybody started booing, and I go, Teddy, we're in Bakersfield. And you go, I will not let you insult these people in Fresno. And now they're booing you.
Well, that was good California bud.
That's right. I said, Teddy, it's all right. They all look alike anyway. It don't matter.
That's right.
And they booed me.
They're all white.
They're all white. They are. The time you left Ron Simmons on the side of the road.
Well, I didn't mean to do that, but as you understand.
Wait a minute.
What? I'm part of the show.
What do you do?
I'm his co-host. Pleasure to meet you.
Cassette Kid.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. You wash your hands today?
I did wash my hands today. He helped me. What?
I mean, I'm just amazed. I mean, I never seen anybody as big as you. I'm gonna tell you something. You better get them diabetes under control, or you ain't gonna be around long. That's all I gotta tell you. And not only that, if you don't hurry up and drop some of these pounds, then you're gonna go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Yeah, how about that? Last time I saw something that big, it had ropes on it.